Speaking out of Akron, Ohio, representing Team Popping the Boys, the headline god, Jeremy Lambert, and his co-host, speaking out of Atlanta, Georgia, representing more than one royal family, the king of indie viewing, Stephen Jensen. And this is the Spotlight on Fightful.
Welcome, everyone, to the Spotlight here on Fightful. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That's Stephen Jensen. Shout out, as always, to Big Dick MLJ for the intro. Jensen, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Just got done with the shoot job. I know you've had a busy day, busy week. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm trying to. Hopefully, everything good is good out there.
Nice. You got
everything's good.
Never want to leak the personal info, but you got the situation handled while you're live right now.
The wife, the superhero, the legend is handling things. I have full confidence in her, so I trust that things are good as long as she's around. If for some reason she has to step out, then we're all screwed.
Okay, well, I believe in her, and I feel like it's possible I get a DM too at some point during the show, potentially. But yeah, man, nothing else is really going on for me outside of looking forward to Dynasty this weekend, looking forward to WrestleMania weekend. I have a whole week off of work from the shoot job for WrestleMania week, so oh yeah, I'm gonna be watching all the collective shows live. Gonna be watching all the other indie wrestling shows, and
you should
go to the casino for a few days.
You should join in the weeds for some shows. I know Joel's going to be in Las Vegas, so it'll be SP3 for a few shows. I might have to be solo for a few shows. I'm just going to have people popping on and whatnot. So yeah, you should join the show at any point during the week.
Yes, I will definitely pop on. Absolutely. I'll be at the casino Monday through, I think I'm coming back Wednesday afternoon, but I could probably do sometime during then, or even possibly from the casino. Like I might pop on from the room on my laptop or something. Yeah, that's what's up. Good deal. I'm looking forward to that week a lot, though. A lot of great wrestling. It's my favorite week of the year. I always, for those of you who listen to the Weekender over on Fightful Select, I always do a full preview of the collective and then a full review of the collective as well. So some upcoming episodes of the Weekend are going to be, full, I'll go through like all the big stories and the major matches and all the stuff that's announced for the whole collective weekend. And then I'll recap the whole thing the next show. Also just programming, reminder, I talked about this on the Weekender as well, but this will be, the upload schedule will be kind of staggered between Sundays and Mondays for the rest of the month because of like Sunday pay-per-views and stuff. Like there's GCW this Sunday afternoon, for instance, and then AEW Dynasty like right after. So I'm going to wait obviously till Monday to, talk about all that. So anyway, that's kind of everything going on with me. Just want to give everyone a heads up, who follow, the indie stuff. And yeah, looking forward a lot to WrestleMania week.
It will be a very busy week. It's always like the busiest week of the year for me. Like not even close to anything else, but it's always a fun week. Like I'm not saying that as a complaint. It's a very fun week. It's just a very busy week, but we get through it. Blessed to watch professional wrestling for a living.
Yeah. I love seeing all the updates, and I know how busy you guys stay. So yeah.
Folks, if you're here, leave a thumbs up on the video. That helps us out. We're gonna catch the WrestleMania sign on fire here. Hopefully, let's see if we can do it. There we go. Catch the WrestleMania sign on fire. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already. That helps us out a whole lot. If you subscribe to the channel, check out all the shorts that are up on the channel. I've done one short a day for every day this year. So go check out the shorts. That's a good way to support the channel. And if you're here, leave a super chat, leave a question, comment, statement, get it read on the air. Just be active in the chat. We enjoy anybody that is in the chat, and we try to interact with the chat as much as we can. So if you're here, feel free to say hello.
Yes, say hello, be a part of the show. We always keep an eye on the chat, and if you have super chats, we'll put it on the screen and address it. And at the end of this show, I have a pre-recorded interview with Tom Talks Rubbish. It's about a half-hour long interview that we actually recorded just a few hours ago during my lunch break on the shoot job. So it was a great conversation. Returning guest, Tom's a great guy. We rag on Jeremy a little bit towards the end for not, joining us. He's been ducking Tom on our platform and on his platform, but we'll that's another story for another day. Tom's a great guy, and it's always obviously in good fun. Tom wishes you could have been there and still extended the invite to speak to him in the future as well if you're ever available. But that will be at the end of this show. It'll be Tom Talks Rubbish joining the show. His 200th episode of Tom Talks Rubbish actually airs tomorrow on his YouTube channel. So good milestone for our friend Tom over their 200 episodes. It's a lot of shows.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I missed it. Yes, it's been a busy week for me. So apologies to Tom. And I did see his message on Twitter. So I will listen to the interview and watch myself get buried, I guess, unfortunately.
It's the lamest even. It's not even, I don't even want to hype it up like it's a burial. Literally towards the end of the interview, I'm just like, he's like thanking me and you. And I'm like, why do you even thank Jeremy? He's not even here. And then I was like, and then he was like, well, I mean, his family is important. I was like, yeah, honestly, that wasn't even a roast on my end. Because his family should be more important than the show. So I was like, they were like, it was literally nothing. But so I don't even want to hype it up like there was any kind of roast worth people waiting for. But definitely tune into the actual interview. It is a great conversation.
Fair. I mean, I should not be thanked. I did not have anything to do with that interview, so that's fair.
Yeah, no real roast, unfortunately.
All right, let's get into professional wrestling. Oh well, we can talk a little NFL real quickly. I did not realize this draft is 3 weeks away. I thought it was next week. It's way too far away.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's still soon though. 3 weeks.
3 weeks? I feel like the Super Bowl was 2 months ago.
Yeah, but the season doesn't start for 6 months still. It doesn't start till it's usually the second week in September, usually around 9/11. I just know it's usually around the time because they do all the tributes and stuff.
I was stunned that it was 3 weeks away. I could have sworn this thing was next week.
I mean, it's been a slow since the initial surge of free agency signings. It's become it's slowed down a lot. The last few weeks it slowed down, and a lot of it centers around the Aaron Rodgers stuff because wherever Aaron Rodgers winds up, a lot of dominoes are going to fall. And then Kirk Cousins is for sure going to be leaving Atlanta, and he's wanting to start, but the Browns might be his only option unless he wants to back up in Minnesota. And he's not, so it's but a lot of it just kind of centers around Aaron Rodgers. But the thing is, until the draft happens, I don't think we're going to see any big moves until after the draft now, or maybe during the draft, because Kirk Cousins himself and other people like Kirk Cousins, like Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to wind up in a situation like Kirk Cousins had last year, where one of these quarterbacks signs with one of these teams right now, and then that team just drafts a quarterback, and then without them realizing it ahead of time, they're competing for a job or could be the backup. So, but I'm with you. I wish the draft was right now. I'm super hyped on the NFL, and really can't wait for that season to start. Skull Vikings. Super hyped on JJ McCarthy. I love this kid. I really, I'm so hyped, dude.
I hope JJ McCarthy turns out to be good for you,
dude. I am super, super optimistic for him. And the great thing is with this squad, we won 14 games with Sam Darnold last season, somehow still didn't win the division. That's a whole other conversation. But I feel even if McCarthy isn't ready or something happens, we proved that we can be successful and make the playoffs last year with a worse team. We have upgraded some massive needs this offseason. We should be better this year than we were last year. So as long as we have just a competent quarterback in there, because we will have a backup. We don't know who it's going to be still. I really think that they thought that what's his face? Daniel Jones was going to stay as our backup, but he wound up getting pretty much. We basically offered them the same thing that Indianapolis offered him, but he has a way better chance of starting with the Colts because he can probably beat out Richardson for that job. Whereas like McCarthy is like, we're letting everyone know McCarthy's going to be the plan is for him to be the starter. Unless something goes wrong, he's supposed to be the starter this year. But, you know, we're going to have a competent backup who can carry our team because we're going to have such a good – our team's going to be so stacked this year. I know I'm super biased, and I'd say this kind of stuff every season, but actual NFL, like, insiders and, like, analysts and stuff right now are, like, pretty hyped on the Vikings also, surprisingly. So, anyway, I'm hyped. And I think that your team will be better this year than they were last year. I think I think Bryce will look better, and Thielen's still there, and some of your younger guys will develop a little bit more, and you'll get some guys in the draft. So,
as long as we can stop the run game, that's the biggest concern. All right, we'll talk more football as the season draws near.
Oh yeah, I can go on forever about that. Let's talk about wrestling.
I need to finish the story. In the WWE, the story never finishes.
I accidentally clicked AEW first.
I was like, "It's me."
Oh, yeah, that's why it popped so quickly there. John Cena does not bury talent; he is talent. John Cena buries mediocrity. John Cena and Cody Rhodes said a lot of things on Monday. I'm not going to try to fully recap all of it because it was days ago. I'm sure most people have heard it by now or heard the recaps by now. They went back and forth. They traded a lot of shots at each other. There were references to AEW, Vince McMahon, Tony Khan, talking about Cody being John's chauffeur back in the day. And now Cody he took the playbook and now he's just using his own, but he's a Nepo fake champion. John Cena is going to end that shit at WrestleMania. The Rock got mentioned because it's been forever. And we had to remind people that The Rock is actually part of this storyline. In the end, Cody Rhodes did lay out John Cena with the Crossroads. I'm sure that made you very excited, Jensen. What did you think overall about this promo segment?
Incredible. This was the best stuff that these guys have done outside of like the initial like turn, maybe where like Cena actually made his heel turn. Since then, there's been like I've liked all the interactions, but I think the general consensus was like it started off like pretty good between the two, then it kind of like cooled off a little bit, and now this was like what everyone was waiting for was like what we got on Monday. I think everyone's pretty hyped up on this match, and I mean everyone was already looking forward to it. I think obviously, and the story writes itself with like Cena going for number 17 and. Obviously the parallels between Cena and Cody and him being the new Cena in a lot of ways and stuff like that. It writes itself in a lot of ways, but like the actual interaction we got on Monday between those guys going back and forth, I think was by far the best we've got was this Monday. And a lot of it had to do with the references that you were mentioning. Speaking of Cody being Cena's chauffeur, have you ever heard the story about the McDonald's ice cream machine?
Yeah, I wrote about that story.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know everything you write about, Jeremy. You write 1,000 articles a day.
Fair, but yes, I do know the story because I have written about the story.
Well, for those of you who may not know this, I figured you probably did, but for those of you who don't know this story, essentially, back in the day when Cody, it was akin to a young boy of John Cena's. He was traveling with Cena back in the day, and they stopped at a McDonald's, and they wanted ice cream, and like so many McDonald's, when you go there, this is very common. They'll tell you the ice cream machine is broken. And apparently, John, you correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't John Cena like give the employee like $100 to turn the machine on and give them ice cream? Wasn't that the? Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. Anyways, just want to throw that sweet story in there. A little bit of Cena and Cody lore. Random Cody lore that I've never brought up on the show before. I once saw Cody Rhodes and Santino Marella at a Waffle House together in Atlanta back when they were like training at probably OVW. So kind of funny. Random and funny. Anyways, the back and forth between the two, the references, were great. I mean, I think the best line of all of it was the, Cody referencing that the fans didn't choose Cena. Cena was chose by, one man in an office who nobody can talk about anymore. And I think the reason that was such a great line, it just hits on so many levels because, for those of us like me and you who lived through wrestling in the 90s, lived through the Attitude Era, and then got to like the PG Cena era, that did, like, a lot of people stopped watching wrestling who were fans like in that time period. It felt like, I mean, I shouldn't even say how it felt like. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves also. Like the numbers for wrestling, the amount of people watching the shows and stuff. Like, I'm not saying Cena was like bad for their business, but like it was a massive shift in everything about what the WWE was. Like when he was on top, it became a G-rated show or PG-rated or whatever. It was very, very heavily focused towards kids specifically for a very long time. He was beating all of our favorite wrestlers, like all the guys we grew up idolizing. He came in and beat all these guys, and we didn't think he was even good at wrestling, which Cody also obviously referenced on Monday, the you can't wrestle chants and stuff. So Cena was shoved down our throats, and Cody's referencing that. Like, I mean, that's a real thing. Like, as a matter of fact, when me and Cody were on the same high school wrestling team, I remember John Cena had just started on television at that time. Like, that's why some of this stuff is so mind-blowing to me, because I remember like hearing Cody talking about John Cena before Cody was even training to be a pro wrestler, and they're about to wrestle each other main event of WrestleMania. Like, mind-blowing. So I and obviously just even referencing Vince at all is like, edgy, risky, like, it's provocative, like to reference Vince in any way, shape, or form on the show. So it gets people talking. So, I mean, I can go on and on about this for like an hour because there's so much you can unpack about the stuff that each of them said to one another. Like John Cena talking about how he said something like, I help build billion-dollar empires, you steal from their children or whatever. Like, this was great stuff. Like, this is what I want to see as like it's inside baseball, but like it makes sense. Like, this is, I don't know, I could glaze this all day. Like, this is an incredible segment. Did you like it?
I like the promo portion of the segment.
Get in with the Crossroads?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Oh my god, ultimate hater.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing was incredible, great back and forth. But then when Cody got one over on Cena and actually hit him with the Crossroads, then it became a problem.
No, here's why. I wouldn't have liked it if maybe if Cena laid out Cody, but that would have been something different. I didn't like that Cena is like, they're squaring up, and then he backs off, and then he goes to throw a punch, and he misses, and then Cody hits the Crossroads and everything. Cena came off as like generic heel A to me when he did that. It feels like John Cena, who after years of being hit with this same, the bad guy is going to act like he's going to fight, he's going to walk away. Oh, then the bad guy's going to swing, but Cena just ducks and hit an AA. Feels like after years of doing that, he should not fall into that same little trope. That's why I didn't like that ending portion. It just felt like Cena would be smarter than that and not just do what every heel does.
Yeah, I mean, he's a heel though.
I know you liked it because it's
awesome.
It's Cody Rhodes and he laid out John Cena. Like, I get it, but again,
are we all forgetting? Because I've seen other people say, sorry to cut you off, but I've seen other people that analyze wrestling say stuff about how they're like, oh, well, I mean, they do have some sort of issue with like Cody like standing tall at the end of that segment, and I'm like, is everyone forgetting how this started? They beat the shit out of Cody. Like, he's at one Crossroads. This is coming off of him getting blood covered, getting hit with the watch, getting hit with the title belt, getting hit in the face for real by Travis Scott. Like, all Cody's done is retaliate one Crossroads. We're not even close to even yet.
So I'm fine if Cody lays him out. Again, I did not like that Cena just did the basic heel kind of setup there. I would have liked it if Cody struck first, honestly, because you're right. He did get his ass beat at Elimination Chamber. So why is Cody just coming out there and just talking to him? Cody should have just punched him in the mouth a long time ago. I would have been okay with that. I didn't like that Cena just did the usual trope of, we're going to fight. I'm just kidding. We're not going to fight. Oh, but now you think your guard's down. I'm going to swing. And then Cody just ducked and hit him with a crossroads. It was just generic to me.
I mean, we're splitting hairs here, but he kind of like did the same thing at WrestleMania last year, him and The Rock, when they faced off. And then he just like threw that really weak punch and he got rock bottomed as a babyface.
Right. But that was to.
I think we're looking too far into this. I understand what you're saying, though. I do get what you're saying. I get your point is that John Cena, after multiple decades of being the guy on the other side of this, who always saw it coming, how would he do that himself? I get it, but it's because he's a villain, and now he's different. He thinks different. He moves different. He acts different. And a lot of his promos are like a lot of the stuff he says in the promos, especially prior to this week, was very generic stuff. Like if other people were saying a lot of that stuff, the you people type promos, we'd be like, oh, write something more original than this. But like specifically for him, like coming from his mouth, these words in these situations, it makes sense because he's been just so anti this for so long. I get what you're saying though, but I don't think that it like took away. For me, I didn't think like that would have never crossed my mind. Like I saw it more for just what it was. Great back and forth promo between both guys. Got massive heat. The crowd was super into it. Crowd popped big when Cody hit that crossroads, and Cody needed to get one up on John Cena after getting his ass kicked at Elimination Chamber. So, and then also, I shouldn't say I think I had heard or read that Cena might not even be live again until WrestleMania. Like he might be doing like pre-tapes and stuff. So like you had to have Cody get one over on Cena to some degree, prior to WrestleMania, especially because, well, I shouldn't say especially, but also because like the video packages, I know this might sound crazy, but I think about this kind of stuff too. When they do like the hype packages, and like the music videos, like the My Way videos, the most famous one, obviously, you need these clips to like put together to like sell the show. And you know what I mean? Like you want a clip of Cody getting beat up and then him hitting Cena with a crossroads. And like, especially to the casual viewer, believe it or not, a lot of people only watch WrestleMania, like complete non-wrestling fans. Some of them literally tune in once a year and just watch WrestleMania. And they need to see this stuff in the buildup, to even know what's going on or feel like it's a fair fight going into it. So yeah. And I'm also going to massively glaze and defend all of this because this is like literally my childhood dream happening in front of me right now as a wrestling fan. So any other thoughts?
I get it.
Anything else you want to try to bury that like doesn't need to be buried?
I thought the promo stuff was great. I thought every line hit for the most part. I could probably nitpick some things, but I thought the majority of the lines hit. I would have preferred if Cena was not a generic villain, but I guess making you a villain makes you dumb because that's the trope as well.
Yeah. Sorry. I think you froze for a second. You're good. Yeah, we're good now.
Oh, I was saying making you a villain makes you dumb. Okay.
Yeah. I think what they're trying to do outside of not changing his theme music and gear and all that stuff, which Cena explained, which I appreciate. I think everything else they're trying to like totally 180 Cena as much as they can in a very, very short amount of time in every way outside of his look and his music, because it's like, obviously he's going to have like a redemption arc before he retires. Like he's not going to retire as a heel. So, you know what I mean? Like as much as they can do to make him different so that it's more clear when he turns back, if that makes sense. I feel like that also could maybe maybe explain, if we're trying to logically explain this within the context of professional wrestling, maybe Cena is dumber and he is clouded. His judgment is clouded, and he doesn't remember what he used to do in certain situations, and he just isn't thinking clearly at all anymore because he's a heel. So he's making some bad moves that he normally wouldn't. I don't know. All right. It is coming from the mind of someone who's watched wrestling religiously for 30 plus years. It's all good. It's all good.
All right. I get your logic. I get it.
I get your logic too. It's not an argument. It's an interesting conversation, but either way, we can both agree that I think Monday was very effective. Like, it was great build to the match of WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was effective, and now if Cena's off television, I do wonder how they continue moving forward with things, because I didn't care for the Friday stuff with Cody when Randy Orton came out and Drew McIntyre came out, and they just kind of overlooked a lot of the Cena stuff, and Orton's already calling for the next title shot and McIntyre's already calling for the next title shot. I'm like, isn't there a monumental WrestleMania match coming up for Cody Rhodes? Like, shouldn't we have a little bit more focus on that? Why isn't Randy Orton talking to Cody about his battles with John Cena and in all the wars he and Cena went through? Different dynamic back then, but Orton could still lend some insight into all of that. Instead, it was just, I'm going after the title. I'm going to stab you in your front. And then Drew came out and did the same thing. He dismissed his WrestleMania stuff. It's like, I'm going after the title as well. I don't need more of that. I don't need more Cody coming out and then, anyway, after you get done with WrestleMania, I'm coming after the title.
Yes, I agree 100%. I don't think they should be overlooking WrestleMania at all with any of these stories that could potentially happen after WrestleMania. But as a Cody Rhodes fan and somebody who still is, I'm not obviously changing my prediction. I do think Cody's going to beat Cena at WrestleMania. It does give you a little bit of hope as a Cody fan that he will retain when they're already planting seeds for, upcoming title defenses after WrestleMania with guys like Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre and stuff. So that's not to say he's going to 100% retain or anything like that. I'm just saying WWE is very methodical and calculated in how they do a lot of this stuff. Whether he has the title belt or not, clearly the WWE wants to do Cody versus those two guys in the near future.
Cody's not going to have the title, so it doesn't matter.
We can place an actual wager on that. You still owe me a leg drop off a play set or whatever for something.
I do. I'm way too big. I'm way too big to do this.
We'll modify that. I'll let you go double or nothing at WrestleMania. Cody versus Cena. But it's got to be a good double or nothing. We got to figure out something good. A good punishment for when Cody defeats John Cena. We got a super chat from Ryan. I'll pull up on the screen. Thank you very much, Ryan, as always.
Thanks, Ryan,
for being a part of the show. Skull Vikings says, over under, how many attitude adjustments Cody kicks out of at Mania? 3. Also, still think Cena wins. Sorry, Jensen. Hashtag Skull Vikes. Well, Ryan, I think that I think Cody's going to kick. I mean, absolutely is going to be multiple. It's not going to be just one. Attitude adjustment, that is. Cody will definitely kick out of multiples. The over-under being 3, that's probably a pretty good. If I was putting together, there might even be lines for this somewhere. But if there is, 3 sounds like a pretty reasonable number. As far as Cena winning, I gotta go against you on that, Ryan. I love you, dude, and the Vikings thing, we're bonded, and you're one of my favorite people that I see in here on a regular basis. But I cannot go with you. Listen, Cena's got to win the title before he retires. He has to win number 17. If it comes at the expense of Cody, I'm okay with it. For the sake of history, it is John Cena. Cody's going to have more title runs before his career's over. He is proved. See, that's the other thing about this too. I've talked about it before, but it really came across even more so on Monday. Cody comes across as on the same level as the guys like The Rock and John Cena. Like, he does not seem out of place. And I talked about it last week when like Roman Reigns first started getting his opportunities and went in there with Cena the first time back and forth. And Cena literally was clowning him on the microphone, talking about how he was like choking on the mic and stuff like that. Cody looks very comfortable going back and forth with these guys. And visually, he looks like a star with them as well. Like in the ring and on the posters and in the media and stuff. Like Cody's their guy. It's great to see. It's great to see after all these years they have him. And they're in such a great position as a company because it isn't just him. Like, he's at the top, but there's more guys we're about to talk about right now. Other people even on this WrestleMania that are massive stars that are also helping massively carry this company to why it's, the best business it's ever done right now.
He's also, a fabricated champion who just copied John Cena.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy. What would do you think 3 is a pretty fair line on attitude adjustments?
I think it's a fair line. Yeah, I feel like I might push. Like, if it was at 2.5, I'd take the over. But 3 sounds about right. Yeah. He's going to hit a super one. He's going to hit a normal one. Buckle. Yeah, he's going to hit a normal one, kick out. Probably hit another one. He's going to hit a super one. And then a 4th one might keep him down.
See, I could see maybe him doing one of those where he does like because by super one, you're talking about like off the second rope. Super AA.
Yeah.
Or you talk, because he also occasionally would do the one where he'd like hit it and then do like a fireman's carry off the ground, like right into another one. Like, you know what I mean? That's maybe.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about like the avalanche one.
Yeah. I don't even want. I mean, Cody's gonna hit with attitude adjustments for sure. That's inevitable. Death, taxes, and Cody's for sure gonna get hit by at least one attitude adjustment. I don't want to see it happen, but it's going to. For history's sake, I want to see it happen. Like last year, one of the coolest things I've ever seen was Cody hitting a rock bottom on the Rock through an announce table. So steez. Anyways, yeah. Ryan followed up by saying he understands, but heel Cena defending against face Orton in St. Louis makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. I feel like Orton is going to turn heel again by the time he goes against Cody, but they could do that in the meantime potentially. And see, that's the other thing. We've talked about it before. I am intrigued by the idea of a heel Cena, whether the title's on the line or not. A heel Cena defending against guys who were heels when he was a babyface that whole time. Like Randy Orton is obviously like the best example of that.
I think Cena and Orton in St. Louis is probably going to be the call, and Cena's going to be the champion. So I'm fairly confident Cody's losing at WrestleMania.
What do you think about the possibility of? Well, we're going to talk about this triple threat match. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Because I was almost going to say, like, what if they don't pull the trigger on Jey Uso? Or even if they did, like Cena won that title by the end of the year, but it just feels like he's too focused on the WWE. I don't know. It muddies the water a little bit because of the 2 titles thing. Because like there's always going to be the out of like if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't win against Cody, but it seems like kind of like a cheaper way of, it seems like lamer if he can't get it done against Cody, then has to settle for like the other world title against Jey Uso or something later on. I don't know. Jey Uso is still very over there. I don't know. Let's talk about the triple threat match because that ties into all this.
Triple threat match between Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. It will main event night 1 of WrestleMania. CM Punk gets his main event thanks to Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Congratulations to CM Punk. He did it. I think as far as the actual match goes, is it not? I mean, listen, I'm a big advocate of a lot of times in wrestling, sometimes for sure, and honestly, probably more often than not, in pro wrestling, even if it's predictable, you should probably just do it if it makes sense. Like follow through with stories. Like don't swerve just to swerve is kind of what I'm getting at. But it just seems way too obvious that the favor is Heyman helping CM Punk and CM Punk winning this match. But it's like too obvious. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that's where this is headed? Is like, do you think CM Punk's winning and it's because Heyman that's the favor? Heyman essentially helps CM Punk win?
I don't know. I'm not sure that is what it's going to be. I'm not sure if CM Punk is just screwing with Roman Reigns right now. And maybe the WrestleMania main event is the favor. But Punk saying that's not the favor. So Roman continues to just have that doubt. And now Seth is also wondering, that isn't the favor. What else does he have up his sleeve? Like, I'm not ruling that out as a possibility.
Yeah, it's interesting. Scott George says Seth gets Heyman's help. What's up, Scott? Always good to see you in the chat. I've been bringing that up for weeks now, and that's whether Seth gets Heyman's help or not, which I do think I'd be interested in Seth being a Heyman guy. I would, just because it's we haven't seen it. I strongly believe Seth Rollins should win the triple threat match. Every week that passes, I feel more strongly about it. Dude, I think that's what's going to happen. Probably not. I still think that. I think we looked at it last week. Like the betting odds still had Seth as the least likely to win. But I believe that it makes sense. But I don't know. There's also this thing about like Roman was their guy, and he's still to a degree, he's still their guy to he's not the champion, and I'm not just glazing Cody, but like he isn't right. He had his run, like he had a run that lasted over 1,000 days straight. Like he already accomplished, like he won wrestling. Like Roman Reigns is a legend forever. Like he's arguably Mount Rushmore WWE superstar. Like he's made forever. He could wrestle one time a year for the rest of his career, kind of how the Undertaker did towards the end of his run. And like he'd make a career out of that and make millions of dollars every year, wrestle once a year if he wanted to at this point. Like that's how big of a star, how high of a level Roman Reigns has hit. But and the reason I say all this is because like he doesn't need to win this triple threat match. I don't want to see Roman Reigns like losing often. I don't want to see it get to that point where it's like Cena the last handful of years where like you see him lose all the time. I don't want to see that. But Roman doesn't need the win. CM Punk, he kind of does and kind of doesn't. Like this to me more so feels like him finally getting to main event WrestleMania, check that off his bucket list because that's like the one thing he never accomplished in his wrestling career that he wanted to. So like he's winning in that sense. We've already seen Heyman with both of these guys for years, both Heyman with Punk and Roman. And throughout all of this, Seth Rollins not only has been loyal to the WWE, like he's a Triple H guy. Like he's like you know what I mean? Like Triple H, I could very well be sitting back and being like, Seth deserves this. Like Seth, like Roman's made, Punk's made. Seth's been, I mean, Seth's WWE Hall of Famer already as well, but like he's not perceived on that same level. Seth Rollins himself would tell you he's never been perceived on the same level as what Cody Rhodes is getting right now, or what Roman Reigns ever had, or what CM Punk's, how the fans view CM Punk and stuff. Like Rollins has never quite hit that level. And if Triple H can potentially get him there through something like this, that's, if it's possible, that's kind of where my head's at too, is like, I just feel like Rollins really deserves it.
I agree with you about Seth Rollins, and I'm not opposed to Seth Rollins winning this match. I think you can set up a lot with Seth Rollins winning this match because he kind of always has been the bridesmaid in these situations. We've talked about it, but he lost the Punk earlier this year. The cage match, he didn't feel like the winner because Roman just beat the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the promo on Friday was fantastic because Seth is like, look at all we built. And then you let the snake back in the garden. We could have just continued forward and this is all your fault. And Roman's just like, you ain't do shit. I've been here. Everybody been riding my coattails out here. This is what I built. This is what I did. I was like, yeah, Seth has just been, he's always been a tier below Roman, no matter what. Even when he was the champion, he was a tier below Roman, but he's always been the guy that could be the thorn in Roman's side. And so for him to finally pin Roman in this scenario, or for him to pin Punk in this scenario, would be like a big feather in the cap of Seth Rollins. So I'm not opposed to him winning. I don't know about Heyman helping him, though. I think there's story there. I just don't know if that's the right move for what Heyman can bring to the table. Him aligning with Seth just feels like, oh, he's aligning with another top heel, because Seth would probably be the heel in this scenario if Heyman aligns with him, because that means screwing Roman or screwing Punk, and right now they are kind of more beloved than Seth. So Heyman just aligning with another top heel just feels like this is what we always do, and I don't know if you need to go to that once again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. Other thing I'm kind of thinking of in the same situation is, like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, if it would obviously depend on how they actually did this, like how it played out on screen, but let's just say Heyman does help Punk. At some point during this, or even during the match itself, like, at the end of the day, because we're eventually going to get CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Like, that's going to happen one-on-one at some point. Is Punk the heel, or is Roman? Like, do they try to turn Roman back, or do they go with Punk as the... I'd go with Punk, obviously. Like, I think that's the move. My personal choice. But, like, yeah, how do you think that plays out? Because, like, if Heyman helps Punk and Punk, like, screws Roman over, I feel like Punk's a heel from that moment going forward.
Yeah, if Heyman aligns with Punk, then Punk's the heel, 100%. But if Heyman stays the course and remains with Roman, and you just do a Punk and Roman feud, I think it plays out like a Punk and Seth feud of they're both going to make their points, and the crowd's going to cheer for who they're going to cheer for.
I'm not.
Like, that's one thing. That's one thing we haven't had yet. And at some point, hopefully before WrestleMania, we get that. And that's the stuff that Punk and Roman can say to each other, because there's a lot of material there. And they haven't said anything. They've done 2 promo segments. One was Punk saying, thanks for serving him up on a silver platter and hitting Roman. And the second was Roman making fun of Punk trying to go through the contract, which was also fantastic. And then Punk saying thank you, but that's not the favor. That's it. They've not done the biting material stuff that we saw with Seth and Punk, that we saw with Cody and Cena, that we know they have with Roman and Punk. They just haven't gone there yet. I assume it's coming, and I look forward to when it happens.
Yeah, I do too. It's going to be a fun build for their inevitable singles match. So you can still get there if Rollins wins. I'm just saying, but
yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the match though. Good for Punk. Glad he can finally just, like, not have to keep talking about main eventing WrestleMania one day. Like, you did it. Like, now what?
Seth.
See what happens.
Seth should just take him out before the match. Just do everything in his power to, not realistically, but, like, he should be a lunatic, like, leading up to this match, just trying to prevent Punk from main eventing try to injure him, do whatever he can, like just completely unhinged to prevent Punk from main eventing.
The Tanya Harding move.
Yeah, jokes about that of Seth is going to pull a Tanya Harding and just that's how CM Punk loses out on his first WrestleMania main event. But
you brought that up.
I mentioned that on Monday's show, Mondays in the Weeds.
Funny.
I do think that like Seth should 100% just like do that in storyline, not actually attack the dude with a pipe in real life to put him out. But in storyline, I do think that Seth should be just over the top trying to prevent him from main eventing.
Seth Rollins is such like a cartoon character too that like it'd be funny to see him doing like. I'm not saying they should do this. It's just making me think like outside the box, but like Looney Tunes style Seth Rollins backstage, like planning booby traps to like hurt CM Punk on his walk to the ring and stuff. Little signs like to get him lost outside the arena. I was watching the that classic Jericho segment the other day from WCW when he gets lost backstage trying to find the ring. It's like that kind of stuff. Like CM Punk's like, directs Seth Rollins directs CM Punk the wrong direction backstage or something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the match though, and I'm glad that they've cleared up the main event thing also. I was pretty confident that it was going to be Jey Uso, but
no,
I
don't think it was ever going to be Jey Uso.
Well, see, part of my line of thinking that was the Royal Rumble, like which they got to be addressed too at some point. Like they need to stop saying that the winner of the Royal Rumble match is main event WrestleMania. They need to make it just clear that these are for title shots. I know that's how it's been, like anyway, really, but like you know what I mean? Because that's part of my line of thinking too. It's like not one WrestleMania main event is going to be a Royal Rumble winner. Like that's kind of crazy. So
I'm with you in that. A Rumble winner, and I said this leading up to, I think a Rumble winner or a women's match should have been the main event. I don't fully love that it's Punk, Roman, and Seth with no title on the line. I know it's the hottest story outside of Cody and Cena, so it makes sense in that regard, but it does kind of make it feel like, oh, all right, well, what do you get winning the Royal Rumble? You get a title shot, but I mean, you love Cody Rhodes. Cody has said main eventing WrestleMania is the hardest thing to do in the business, harder than winning the title because you have all year to win a title. You got 2 shots technically to win or to main event WrestleMania. So the Rumble winner not getting a guaranteed main event feels a little lame. And then a women's match not getting a main event for I think a 3rd straight year now feels a little like, there isn't anything in the company that constitutes like having the women be in the main event. Rhea. Again, I get it. Yeah, that story's so disjointed.
I was saying like her, like she has the star power to like she could have been the WrestleMania main event this year based on like the reaction she gets and stuff. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. The story has been very weird. Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. Sorry.
If they done a, all right, no, you're fine. Yeah, if they done a better job with the story, I think it could have easily been a main event. But they haven't done a great job with the story. And honestly, Rhea is getting the biggest reactions, but she's also kind of been the biggest jerk in the entire thing and should be booed for what she's been doing. But she's just so over that she just continues to get cheered.
True. Because where they left off now, right, was the match on Monday that was a DQ. So technically, it's a singles match still, but like Rhea, like clearly isn't not. They're still at this point storyline wise, they're still teasing like Rhea still has no path to WrestleMania, right? Like that's like the story still with 2 weeks from now until. That seems weird to me, considering she's one of the biggest stars they have in the entire company. But
they should do. I've already pitched this, but I'm going to pitch it again. They should do the WrestleMania 9 finish for this match, where Bianca cheats to beat Io and then she gets blinded by glitter or something, and then Io's like, "You go get her, Rhea. You go get her."
Oh my gosh, Hogan style.
And then Rhea beats Bianca.
Oh man, that's so glitter instead of salt.
Yeah,
Was it salt powder, whatever it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were yeah, that was because that was the WrestleMania where didn't the Hulkster do like a tag team match earlier in the show? Yeah, and then just straight up stole everyone's thunder at the end. It's a very classic Hogan.
There's a documentary coming out on this on WrestleMania 9. I'm so excited for it.
Who's doing it?
WWE. It's gonna be on Peacock next week.
You're actually excited about it?
Yeah.
Are they gonna like roast Hogan for making that move? Is that what you're saying?
No, Hogan's part of it. Like, dude, WrestleMania 9 is a hilarious event. Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah,
like,
okay. I see what you're
finish.
Saying. Yeah, I got you. For
like,
you,
I'm very.
You were specifically excited. Yes, I get it. Okay. Yeah. This is your jam. This is like them doing a Dungeon of Doom documentary because I would be marking out for. Yeah, right. Yeah. It would. It's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, we can move on to if people see Ryan's got it. There's a doc coming out next Friday, and Scott's saying it's the worst WrestleMania of all time. Yeah, that's why this documentary is gonna be fantastic because I want to see like what kind of bullshit they feed all these years later. Like, can they admit that all of this sucked, or are they gonna try to be like, oh, we tried something different? You know, it was the first outdoor WrestleMania. We went to Caesars, and it was this big deal, and you know, Hulk needed to win the title. Like, can they justify it, or are they just like, yeah, this show just kind of sucked, and we screwed up that main event, and so many things went wrong, and we tried to make the best of it, but it didn't work.
They interviewing Bret Hart for it because he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, Bret's part of it.
Oh, that's great. I can't wait to hear him talk about that. Yeah, they took my moment from me for no reason and gave it to Hulk and then see the only thing I don't like about this if it's WWE produced, because what I really like to see is an unfiltered, unedited, just give Hogan a microphone and get his side of the story on how that all went down. Like how did he win the title that night? What conversations happened? Because I can only imagine the story that he would come up with as to why it all made sense for him to win the title at the end of that show. Like the stories he probably has.
Hogan's going to be part of the documentary. Hogan's part of the documentary, so we will get his thoughts. Here's one thing. I feel like this is the first real documentary. I could be completely mistaken. Somebody can correct me. But I feel like this is the first real documentary that they've done since Vince was gone. And they're clearly like, they don't need to protect Vince. Because that was obviously a thing. Like we want to make sure Vince is still in charge, and if he says it was good, then it was good. Now it's like, if it sucked, we can say that because Vince is gone, and we're fine with burying the stuff that he wanted to do. So that's why I'm also very interested in this whole thing.
That's very true. I mean, because they don't really have any. They're not really incentivized to like cover for him or have to feel his wrath if they roast his ideas and stuff like that. It'll be interesting. I just have to hope that the WWE doesn't filter. I hope they don't filter it too much. I guess let's put it that way. Like I hope they're honest about the stuff we're talking about how bad this was and how bad some of these decisions were and how they affected the company negatively at a time when like the business was like, it was getting bad. Like, I mean, they were in a bad spot. So anyway.
All right, let's move on to, real quickly. Tom Talks Rubbish sends super chat. Says, thanks for being awesome, guys. Thanks, Tom. We appreciate you. And Jensen let me know that you guys buried me on your interview. So I will get shots back.
Yeah, really, it's just a terrible burial. You
and I do
believe the fire.
I do apologize as well, Tom. I'm very sorry that I was unable to make it onto for the interview tonight. A lot going on, so I apologize. All right, let's go to AEW.
Over 1 million fans and a great number in the demo tuned in. And it was a great show, and I think it's been a run of great shows.
AEW Dynasty is this Sunday. They got a whole lot of stuff on this card, but Jensen, what are you most looking forward to?
Cool. So as far as on the actual show itself, I'm looking at the card. It's a great card. Every AEW pay-per-view card is always stacked top to bottom. You can always guarantee great in-ring wrestling. So I'm not concerned about any of those things. I know I'm going to get my money's worth from an in-ring standpoint on this pay-per-view. So we'll start off by saying that. I want to, before I say what I'm most looking forward to on the actual pay-per-view, I want to say the thing I'm the most looking forward to overall in AEW was what I saw at the end of Dynamite last night between Swerve and Hangman.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have to bring that up before I even bring up Dynasty, because that's where, like, that's the money is in that feud, which we've talked about plenty of times over the last year or whatever that they've been going at it. But last night was the first time when they really planted the seed that I brought up last week of the idea of them actually teaming or aligning for like the greater good. And that's where it feels like we're heading, with Swerve admitting that he deserved what he got. And the way Hangman responded to that, being like, what did you just say? Like when it hit him, like, well, this guy's starting to take accountability. And so it leads me to believe that either Hangman is going to help Swerve win the title, or vice versa. Like they'll wait until the next pay-per-view and Swerve will help Hangman win the title. But we've both talked about it. I do think that the best option for All In is Moxley versus Swerve. Sorry. Swerve versus Hangman.
Okay. Yeah.
With the title on the line, preferably. So I wanted to say all of that because the match that I'm the most looking forward to on the show, although I'm still not down with the Death Riders, and I thought Marina Shafir looked terrible a lot yesterday. I don't know what anyone else saw. I literally saw no feedback whatsoever. People might have loved her. I don't know what it is. She's been around. I'm only saying this because she's been wrestling for like a decade at this point. And I just feel like there's been no improvement at all in this amount of time somehow. She normally has really short matches, if anything. But I don't know. I thought it was an interesting decision to have her have her first long match in the company pretty much in this tag team match heading into the pay-per-view. That's very important and I get that it was also to set up Moxley hitting the double arm DDT on Willow at the end and stuff like that. But the reason I say all of this is because I still the Death Riders thing just still isn't hitting how it should be for me. And I want it to end as soon as possible, to be honest. So I'm at this point, I'm really all for Swerve winning the title at Dynasty. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, get the title on Swerve, build towards Swerve and Hangman, because I'm super excited for them either running that back or them, do more with that. That's the best thing they got in the whole company right now, in my opinion, is those two guys and the history that they have in their feud. So get the world title involved there. And I think the match will be great because, it's Jon Moxley is a fan of Swerve's, and these guys are complete sickos. I mean, they're going to try to one up what we've already seen between the syringes and nails in the back and all that stuff, the spikes in the back and all that stuff. We've seen Moxley have his earring ripped out and all this stuff. There's something that's going to be disgusting, whatever they wind up doing to push the. I think I saw something about Tony Khan, maybe even today, said something about how they're going to lean even more into certain hardcore elements.
He just basically said we're just going to continue to do stuff when it makes sense. I don't think it was we're going to keep doing a lot of stuff like that. It was just more of, if it makes sense, we'll do it, and we're not concerned about getting thrown off the air or anything.
Sure,
because he knows the fans like it. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see spike bats every single show or anything like that.
Nor should you. I mean, if you're going to, I definitely don't want to see. I honestly don't want to see that ever again. What happened to Moxley? And this is coming from somebody. Once again, I always have to preface this by saying I literally review deathmatch wrestling on a weekly basis. So like, I'm very used to seeing weird stuff in wrestling, but like that looked just overly dangerous to me with like how deep those went, and like it just seemed like just such a bad idea to do that. Anyways. That is still the match I'm the most looking forward to, though, because I am incredibly interested in the result, and I fully expect Hangman to play some sort of factor in the result. Do you think that they're going to just go and pull the trigger and put the title back on Swerve? I mean, also it's worth mentioning Swerve won the title for the first time at the show last year over Samoa Joe. Worth mentioning that as well. But do you think that Swerve wins, or do they keep prolonging this with Moxley and eventually Hangman beats Moxley?
I think Swerve should win, and I don't know if Hangman is going to help Swerve in an outright way, but Hangman kept saying, I'm going to make sure Swerve is not the champion. And then I think Swerve's admittance and apology last night made Hangman rethink things and be like, maybe I don't need to screw this guy out of the title. Doesn't mean he's going to help him win the title, but it could just mean, all right, if he wins the title, he wins the title. Then I'll make him my problem because I still want that title. I don't think they're going to be friends or anything. I've seen a lot of people talk about, they're going to be a tag team and everything. I don't think you need to go to that well just yet. I think at some point you can get something out of that, but I don't think you need to go there just yet. I think it's going to be more of Hangman doesn't screw over Swerve. Maybe he does help because Swerve needs friends against the Death Riders. I assume the Death Riders are going to get involved. So maybe Hangman is that guy to help him. I'm not fully buying that just yet, though.
I'm with you. I agree with everything you just said. There's a lot of different ways they can go with it. I just like that it's continuing to be like the seeds keep getting planted for like, we can see the foreshadowing. Like we know they're coming back to that in some way, shape or form. And they never really left. It's just, you can't have these guys feud with one another consistently always. You have to have them doing other stuff. But I like that there's always kind of that common road back to the two of them that they're always going to have. Like you can't, in wrestling, we see so many things slide where like things happen and get kind of like over, just kind of like breezed over and stuff, like certain issues and things and hit people's histories. When you do something like threaten a child and then burn that person's house down in retaliation, like you can't just like you shouldn't ever fully completely move past that, right? Like if you worked in the same company as that person, I had to see them all the time. So I like that these two guys are linked in the way that they are. But I don't necessarily want to see them like as a tag team right away. I don't know if I ever want to honestly even see them as a tag team, but like I like the idea of them having to work together for a common good when it makes sense. But then like one thing can go wrong between the two and they're back to stabbing each other. You know what I mean? Like, we got a super chat, another one from Ryan. Thank you very much, Ryan. Says, I feel like Hangman is going to try to buckshot Mox. Mox moves and he hits Swerve. Mox wins, but then next week Hangman apologizes to Swerve and they bond over trying to get the belt off Mox. I don't hate that idea, that scenario. Oh, I'm sorry, I got distracted by something.
Oh.
I'm gonna get. Oh no! I had my eye on It's one of those situations when like you have a bet on something and it's like a 6-leg parlay, and then like 5 of them hit, and then like you're on the last one, and then you miss by 0.5, and like you don't win $1,000. Anyways. But yeah, Ryan, I think that I like that scenario. I like if that happened on screen and it played out that way. Like I don't know if I so much buy like them like bonding right after because like the intention was good, but I could see a scenario where Hangman does actually try to help Swerve, but accidentally winds up costing him somehow. I could see that maybe happening. What about you, Jeremy?
I can see that. I like that idea, Ryan. I didn't really think of that being a full possibility because I didn't see Hangman getting involved in that way. But I can see that now that you mention it. I think they should just have Swerve win this title and then do Hangman and Swerve at All In. Hangman's in the Owen tournament. He should just win the Owen tournament, face Swerve at All In, and you don't need to overthink this whole thing. Just do what's right in front of you. Don't overthink it.
I'm with you. Like I said before, sometimes the obvious thing is like, it's just the right call. Just go through with it. Next topic.
Oh, anything else from Dynasty? Or the whole topic?
That's right. Yeah, sure. I forgot that we had this whole other card. We don't need to go match by match, but as far as like other stuff I'm looking forward to, I'm obviously like the triple threat match between Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball should be fantastic. I think Ricochet has done great recently with his heel character, and obviously his in-ring skills have always been through the roof. I fully expect Kenny to retain. I think all of us expect him to retain the title. But I think it'll be a really, really good match. I'm interested in the trios match from a storyline standpoint. I don't care about the titles at all, but obviously they're teasing some sort of turn, whether it's all three of FTR, rated FTR turning heel, or one of them, or whatever the case is. There's going to be some sort of turn that they've been teasing on that side. So, interested to see where they go with that. But once again, I just, on the other hand, I'd like to see rated FTR just win the trios titles, because like they're not being done. Nothing's being done with them with the Death Riders, but nothing gets done with them no matter who the trios champions are. So it really doesn't matter.
Which is
yeah. I'd imagine that. Let me ask you this one: who do you think wins between Timeless Tony and Megan Bayne? Considering Tony just won the title back, but they've made Megan look like unstoppable.
I think it's going to be Tony. I would not mind if Megan gets this continued big push, but I think Tony's going to be the champion going into All In. Now, there's still a pay-per-view between All In and Dynasty and All In. So it's possible that maybe Megan wins it here and Tony gets it back at Double or Nothing. I don't fully love Hot Potato winning the title that much, but I think Tony is gonna retain.
That's I'm with you. Like I can't see them doing all that with Tony and Mariah just for Tony to win the title back the way that she did, and then have her lose pretty much immediately to Megan, and then pretty much have to do the same story again that she did with Mariah with Megan. Yeah. I think they've done a good job of building Megan Bayne as a credible threat in a very short amount of time, though. Like for someone like me and you, like it's been longer because we've seen Megan Bayne, rise throughout the ranks on the indie scene and stuff. I mean, she was pretty much, I think she may have only lost like one time or whatever in her entire GCW run, and she was there consistently wrestling people of all genders and being pretty dominant throughout that entire run too. So she's always been, I'm not saying this is like a negative, but Megan Bayne has always been incredibly protected from like a booking standpoint everywhere she's been at. And I get it. Like she's got a great look. She got good size. She's strong. She's very believable. She's fresh too. Like she's new to the wrestling audience. Like most of the wrestling world hasn't seen her, and she didn't make a name for herself in the WWE or anything like that. So, I'm happy for her, and I think that it's cool that they built her as credible so quickly. But nothing against Megan. I think it'd be a mistake in a lot of ways to like take the title off Tony right now after she just won it back. So, especially to somebody who just came into the company, very, very new. If you were going to do something like this, I'd go more so for someone like Harley Cameron. Like, not that like the character is the same, but like Harley's super over, and like I could see them doing, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's a lot more you could do with Harley and her character and stuff than you could like right now with Megan Bayne just being like unstoppable woman,
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think that Tony is going to continue with this, and I don't think Megan Bayne loses anything by losing this match, and I hope they continue to keep her strong moving forward, and they have something more for her after this.
Yes. Oh, our homie Nacho Main in the chat. Nacho Main, what's
Nacho
up?
Main?
Dude, good to see you. I say a lot of bad words. Nacho Main. He just put up a video the other day that I watched. It was a short one about inanimate objects like Yoshihiko. I brought up Nacho Main in an interview that we did with Cole Radrick not too long ago because Cole's wrestled Yoshihiko. But yeah, Nacho Main, it's great to see you in here. We got to get him on again. I'll reach out. I'm going to DM you soon, Nacho Main, about getting you back here for another interview sometime soon if you're down. Maybe sometime in the next few weeks. That'd be sweet. I keep up with his channel. Y'all go check out his YouTube channel. The content's hilarious. A lot of like obscure. It's right up Jeremy's alley. It's like the obscure of the obscure, just funny bad wrestling shows and gimmicks and knockoff characters. And it's funny because we interviewed Dave Penzer. And our interview and his recollection of why am I blanking on the name of the company? XPW, not XPW. Yeah, XPW, Extreme Pro Wrestling. Was that what it was? XWF. Well,
they didn't.
XWF.
XWF. Yeah, they didn't have.
XPW was a different company.
XPW was the hardcore. Yeah.
Yes, that's why I was getting thrown off.
Yeah.
But we interviewed Penzer about that, and obviously it's all these fond memories of this great time in his life in wrestling. And then you watch Nacho Main's video and it's like, was this the worst wrestling federation of all time? And all this proof of why it was maybe not exactly how some people remember it. So it's anyway, shout out Nacho Main. Great to see him here in the chat. Shout out Dave Penzer as well. We appreciate you being on the show multiple times. Yeah. Voice of our childhood, Dave Penzer.
Anything else from Dynasty?
I mean, we can talk about more of the stuff if you want to, but I just know we don't want to be here forever. I will say, Chris Jericho versus Bandito, title versus mask. I don't expect Bandito to be unmasked. So, guessing he's probably going to win the ROH championship. You agree there?
Yeah.
I didn't ask for your predictions on the other ones, but I mean, obviously you're going to go with Kenny Omega in the triple threat.
Ricochet.
Are you going to really take Ricochet? You're not really taking Ricochet.
Ricochet pin speedball. Why not?
Why not? Because they have Omega and Okada lined up ready to go to unify to create the Intercontinental title.
Omega can get the belt back at Double or Nothing, and then he can do the match with Okada at All In.
I don't actually hate that idea. I don't know if you're trolling or not, but it's not a bad idea. That Kenny's going to win. All right, then the Death Riders and FTR. Who do you think wins that, or are you with me where it's it really just doesn't matter because the titles don't matter?
Yeah, I think that the Death Riders retain because Cope turns in this match.
So Cope turns heel on FTR, and the two of them stay together as baby faces. You think?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminded me, dude. That was cringe last night, and I hate to say it because I've been an Edge fan since '97 or whatever, dude. I remember. But dude, I know that they did the whole singing the song together thing a few weeks ago, and it was super successful. Great moment. Edge was tearing up in the ring. Sorry, Cope was tearing up in the ring. Incredible moment, and they were able to pretty much replicate it the week after on Dynamite. The crowd was, a few weeks have passed. Last night, Edge had to cut. Cope had to cut them off during their song because it was dying out so bad. So then he just note to AEW production: do not cut the song and expect the fans to sing for Cope going forward. It might work on the pay-per-view because the Dynasty crowd's going to be probably super hot because it's going to be the hardcore audience. But I would say I'd stop doing that on a regular basis on random Dynamites because that was kind of cringe. But I think it's not a bad idea for Cope to turn heel, though. I think that's probably a good idea. So him and Christian have got to align, though, I think, as heels.
That's what I think they're going to do.
Versus FTR's baby faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. That's probably going to happen at All In. FTR versus Edge and Christian. Cope and Christian. Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole. I like how the stipulation of this, similar to the Continental Classic, is Continental Classic, I don't know if there's a time limit. I can't remember. There is, right?
There
They
is.
have draws. Yeah.
It's 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes.
20 minutes, right? But they're saying specifically no outside interference is permitted in this match, which is the rule for every match. But what's your prediction? We're guaranteed a great match here. I'm not concerned about that at all. I just unfortunately don't care about the TNT Championship at all either at this point. But I like Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole. Like, I respect both these guys massively. I think it's going to be a great in-ring match between these two. But do you think that this is where they put the title? Like, do you find, like, if they're not going to put the title on Adam Cole, why did he fight for this many times? It's kind of like where I'm at. So I feel like Adam Cole's probably just going to win at this point.
I thought Adam Cole was going to win this title months ago, and then they've done the interference finish and the time limit finish. So I'm not backing off of my Adam Cole wins prediction.
I'm with you on that. I'm going to take Adam Cole to win the TNT title. We have the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin defending the AEW tag titles against the Learning Tree of Big Bill and Brian Keith. It looks like the Learning Tree is going to be chopped down sometime soon. So, keep your eyes on that. The seeds it's got so many tree puns right now. But the seeds have been planted for the Learning Tree to be chopped down. Obviously the Hurt Syndicate's going to win this match, but they're currently in a. Wait a second. Is MJF not wrestling on the show?
No.
I just realized that. That's a giant miss. Is he hurt or something? He's doing the whole story with the Hurt Syndicate.
He's doing the story with them. What's he need to wrestle for?
Because it's an AEW pay-per-view, and MJF's one of the best guys on their whole roster, and he's getting paid. I don't even care about the business side. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm trying to tell Tony Khan how to spend his infinite amount of money. I'm really not. But you would think, considering MJF is on a super high, or at least to what people think, with how public his negotiations were with the company, you'd imagine he'd be on every pay-per-view if he's healthy. That's just me, I guess. But Hurt Syndicate, you have them winning because I highly doubt they're losing. We have Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. Do I need to go any farther into that one?
Kevin Knight's winning.
Dude, Kevin Knight just squash match. He's just gonna go in and just hit a double moonsault onto Ospreay.
Hell yeah.
Listen, I like Kevin Knight a lot. I think he's still got a lot of potential. I've seen him live many times because he's from Atlanta. So I've watched him at shows like Battle Slam and stuff. And he seems like a good dude. I've been pulling for him for years. And very talented. It's just he's obviously not going to win over Will Ospreay. He debuted in the company 2 weeks ago. But congratulations to him for getting an AEW contract. And let's hope he doesn't get lost in the mix. We have the only other match I have on this card is Mercedes Moné and Julia Hart, which, I don't think there's any chance of Mercedes Moné losing there. I'll ask you really quick. We don't have to do bracketology, but just off the top of your head, now that we've seen the Owen tournament brackets, who do you have winning the men and the women tournaments as of now?
I've got Hangman on the men's side.
Same.
Because I think he's going to All In to challenge Swerve.
Yep.
The women's was a little bit tougher. SP3 and I are going to do bracketology tomorrow on In the Weeds.
I'll let you save it for tomorrow if you want to. Yeah. You can save it for tomorrow. I'll tell you who I want.
You sure?
Or who I think.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to save
who
it,
do you think?
you guys do it tomorrow. I'll it's actually really, really tough to call because part of me wants to go with Athena because how badass would that be after the run she's had with the ROH title to run because I also don't really want to see her lose because we don't see her lose ever in Ring of Honor. I don't want to see her lose on AEW either. So I think it'd be pretty cool. Mercedes is belt collecting. I could see her adding the tournament. For some reason though, Jamie Hayter really stands out to me still. I don't know what it is. Maybe because she was so red hot before she got hurt. And I feel like she's never really got that momentum back, but nothing really changed negatively. She's still great in the ring and she's never really caught back on. And maybe this is what she needs. So for some reason I want to say Jamie Hayter, but on the flip side, you can make a case for a lot of these women. You really can. my official prediction, and this might be Mercedes' title isn't on the line during the tournament, right? So could she possibly lose it before then? She can't lose the title before then.
Could she lose the title before? No, because I assume every match she's going to have moving forward is a tournament match.
Because they're teasing her versus Athena, but they haven't announced is that
that's a second round match. No, that's going to happen in the second round of this tournament.
Right. But I feel like they're that'll happen on a bigger stage, with the title on the line. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, but it's also going to happen in the second round.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, I'm just thinking ahead of that as far as who would it make? Because I'm kind of split between them for a lot of reasons. I have my reasons for Jamie Hayter is just a gut feeling, but I'd really like to see Athena do it. But I also, because the winner of the tournament, right? They get that belt, but they don't defend the title belt. But they haven't. Last year, you got a title shot if you won it, though. They haven't made that clear yet, but we're assuming that's going to be the case.
Oh, it's SP3 looked into this, and they said last year. They said this is the case moving forward, and that's why everyone, when they talked about wanting to enter the Owen, Ospreay was very clear when he said he wanted to enter the Owen. He's like, got my eyes on All In. I'm going to enter the Owen. I'm going to win All In. Then I'm going to win the Owen. Then I'll main event All In and challenge for the world title. So yes, it is for a title shot.
I'm taking Jamie Hayter. We get Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm at All In.
Okay. I could see that. I could see that. I'll give you Joel's prediction, so you have something to match it against. He believes Billy Starks is going at least to the finals.
Hey, as much as I love that, I mean, I've been a Billy Starks fan since she was 13 years old, dude. I'd love nothing more for her and for Mouse and that family. I think it'd be cool as hell to see that. You'll never catch me not wanting to see Billy Starks winning. I look at the rest of that tournament, and I just don't think that Billy. But that'd be awesome. I'd love to see Billy Starks win that whole thing. But so SP3 took her to win, or just said, I think she'll make the finals. Was that his prediction? Or sorry, Joel's prediction?
He definitely said the finals. I think he said maybe losing to Mercedes in the finals, but he was very confident in her going to the finals, and almost sounded like he was ready to pick her to win. I don't think he was fully ready to commit to that, but he was very confident about the finals prediction.
Okay. I would love to see it. I'd love to see it. Nothing but love for Billy Starks and the homie Mouse.
Move on.
And I've got Hangman also, for sure. That's who I'm picking for the men's. So.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's everything AEW related. We can move on to the next set of spotlights.
Our product is what it is. We're going straight up the middle.
Allegedly, Tetsuya Naito is a freelancer. He said his contract expired at the end of January, and he's just been working without a deal, and they're going for a fourth run of negotiations here pretty soon. Naito is one half of the IWGP Tag Team Champions with Hiromu. They're defending the titles at Sakura Genesis this weekend against Jeff Cobb and Callum Newman. Jeff Cobb also subject of many rumors of potentially being WWE bound. Do you think there's a chance Naito's actually leaving New Japan?
I mean, I guess there's a chance, but I don't know what his better options are going to be. And I also legitimately have no idea as far as logistically. This might sound, I'm assuming he lives in Japan because he's working for New Japan as long as he has. He probably resides there. I mean, for him at this point of his career, at his age, with his, lingering injuries and all this stuff, does he want to pick up and move to the States at this point and work for another company where he may not have nearly the amount of success that he had in New Japan? You know what I mean? It just seems what would be the better option if you're him? And unfortunately, he's not in the kind of situation of a guy like a Will Ospreay or a Jay White, for instance. By the way, Jay White, hope to get well soon for Jay White as well. That's gutting. The dude was on a great run, and he's back on the shelf. That sucks. But Naito's not in the position that those kind of guys are. I hate to be so blunt about it, but the last few times I've really paid attention to anything Naito has been involved in, he has not looked good. Like it just he looks like a shell of his former self in the ring, and I don't see AEW giving him some like giant full-time or even part-time deal. I definitely don't see WWE doing it at this point in his career. I don't think he'd benefit from like picking up shop and like moving to the States for like TNA or something like that. He's not going to work like the US. He does work US Indies occasionally. Like he does tours here sometimes, but like, I don't see him doing that. I think his options are mainly going to be, unless there's something I'm totally blanking on, I think it's going to be staying with New Japan to whatever extent he can, whether it's part-time or whatever, or like kind of retiring. Like he's not in a position where I think he's going to have a whole lot of leverage. With the leverage he has, the little bit of leverage he has is he is a legend in New Japan Professional Wrestling. He's been very valuable to them for a long time. He's been a multiple-time world champion. He's a current, as you mentioned, tag team champion. Like, it's not like he means nothing to the company and they want to just like see ya, like your old goods, get lost. But it'd be similar like Tanahashi trying to like negotiate against them, like thinking like at this point in his career with his injuries and everything, it'd be a good idea to, like, if you were going to make this kind of move, you wouldn't want to do it when like Nakamura did it. You know what I mean? Like you would have wanted to been 7, 8, 10 years into the WWE at this point in your career by now, if you're going to make that kind of move, or you would have wanted to been like Will Ospreay or Jay White, where you're like in your early 30s or whatever when you make that move. Naito is, I hate to be so blunt about it, but like, he's just kind of damaged goods. Like I don't, like am I out of pocket and kind of explaining it this way, or do you agree?
No, I'm with you. He is not who he once was, and that comes across very obvious in his matches. I would still like to see him as a weekly television character on like AEW, because I think it'd be funny, much like Okada has just kind of fit into this role of saying bitch and having good matches when he wants, but paint by number matches otherwise. And I think Naito doing a even more scaled down version of that would be hilarious. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's just going to stay in New Japan. And I always thought this whole thing it came out on April 1st. So a lot of people just assumed it was April Fool's. I just assumed it was Naito being Naito because he's a worker to the end of the core, especially with the Japanese media. But I just assume he's staying in New Japan.
You never know with those April Fools, like when stuff actually happens on April Fools. Like I remember years ago, actually, I think was the Val Kilmer news this year on April Fools? I think that was, because I think people were like, is this real or not? Like that Val Kilmer passed away and everyone thought it was an April Fool's joke. And it actually was true, unfortunately. But I remember years and years ago, I guess it was already a long time ago now, one of the like 4 or 5 times or whatever that Tony Ferguson versus Habib Nurmagomedov got canceled. Yeah. Was on April Fool's one time. Like the news came out on April 1st. And I remember, because I was working with MMA on Point at the time, and we were like, would put up like an article on the site or like a post on social media or whatever when news broke. And I remember I DM'd Mark Ramundi, and I was like, dude, is this real or is this April Fool's? Like I don't want to look like an idiot. Like, and he was like, unfortunately, this is real. And I remember seeing it breaking everywhere. And that's just another example of like when something that seems completely insane, like there's no way this is possibly happening, actually happens on April Fool's. So yeah, that just reminded me of that. I don't even remember why I brought that up.
Again, I think Naito is just trolling, and that's that.
Oh, because the Naito thing was April Fool's. That's right. Yeah, you're probably right. Why would he leave New Japan? Like you said, best case scenario is you wind up in an Okada type situation, but like that is not guaranteed to work out for you. So.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, the Okada situation, it's working out well for him. He's getting paid a lot of money to just not be on television. Rules.
I mean, I'm not going to knock someone for getting paid a whole bunch of money to do less work. I mean,
that's the dream.
I wish my shoot job called me right now and they were like, Steven, appreciate the work that you've done. We're going to triple your pay and you only have to work once a month. I'd be like, yeah, I'll take that. Thank you.
That'd rule.
Not even a question.
All right. The other spotlight is MLW. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, so there's just a delay. You froze. I was done. You can tee up Battle Riot.
Okay. MLW Battle Riot on Saturday. It is for the MLW World Title for the first time. Instead of a title shot, the title's on the line. Matt Riddle is in the match. Do you think anybody but Matt Riddle wins this?
No. I think Matt Riddle wins Battle Riot. I think he enters number one and he runs the entire table. This was put together by Eric Bischoff in storyline as like a punishment. Because what I think is going to happen after Matt Riddle beats everybody in Battle Riot is Cruel is going to cash in and become the champion.
Okay. I like that scenario. I do. I thought Matt Riddle would win as well. Because I like looking at the list of competitors, I'm like, does anybody really make sense as the new MLW champion? And there was no name that like fully jumped out to me who could do it. So I like your idea that because they've not announced Cruel for the match yet.
Exactly.
So him coming out at the end and him coming out at the end, especially if Riddle's number one and cashing in, makes a ton of sense. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that's likely where this goes.
Yeah, and then it sets up for a one-on-one rematch, probably at their next big live pay-per-view where Riddle can try to challenge Cruel to try to win the title back in like an actual one-on-one match, and I'd have Cruel retain there as well. They've been building towards. I'm not one of those people. Full transparency. I'm not one of those people that like just like hates on Matt Riddle. Like I understand that he's controversial and there's unlikable things about him and stuff like that. I totally get it, but I'll give him his credit. Like he's a very good pro wrestler. He looks the part. He's very successful in like the companies he works in. I understand why MLW put the world title on him. Like he had good matches, interesting stories. The Filthy Bros stuff with him and Tom Lawler has been a big part of their show and their television. Like, you know, but they've been building Cruel to win this title for way longer than that. Like Cruel's been teed up to win this thing since like halfway through Kojima's run with the title. So like, I think that Cruel, I don't think there was ever a reason for Matt Riddle to even become the MLW champion because I think it was so inevitable that it's Cruel. Everyone's on borrowed time. Mads Cruel Kruger is going to be the MLW world champion. From the day that we found out that he signed an actual deal with MLW, there was no doubt in my mind he was going to become their world champion. Because he already should have been by now, if we're being honest. He should have definitely won the title at center stage against Kojima in that match where he threw that fireball that didn't go off, Warrior Hogan Halloween Havoc style was terrible. But like he should have won the title that night. But I think the only reason he didn't is because he hadn't signed a deal with them. But now that he has, I think they're good. And then, by the way, you don't have to have an MLW contract to be successful in that company. There's plenty of people who become their champion and aren't signed. I'm not saying that's the be all end all, but I think that was a little, they probably wanted to make sure he was going to be around if they were going to do a long-term investment in him becoming their champion. I think he just wanted to make sure he was going to be around, and he is. So, that said, I think that makes perfect sense, this whole scenario. Riddle basically beats, he's not going to pin every single person in this match or throw every single person over the ropes and stuff. But for those of you who don't know, Battle Riot is basically like an anything goes Royal Rumble type match where you can eliminate people over the top or pin or submit them. I love the match concept. I think it's great. And I think it'd be a great story. Riddle goes in there at number one, wins the whole match. So it looks like he basically beat the entire MLW roster. There's no one left. Like he's the man. Cruel comes out, hits him with Scorched Earth, 1, 2, 3. That's my prediction.
I'm with you. I like your prediction. You've sold me on that. Indie Spotlight.
I want to give a big motherfucking shout out.
the senior scramble at Joey Janela's Spring Break 9. We got the Warlord, who's 63 years old, Doug Gilbert, who's 56, Ricky Morton, who is 68, George South, 62, Tommy Rich, 68, Mike Jackson, 75. The combined age is 392 years old in this match. I can't wait for it. It's going to be so stupid, and I'm so excited for it.
So everyone in the match was at least in their 60s, and Action Mike was he the only one in their 70s, and he's the oldest based on what you just read?
Yes. Doug Gilbert's 56. He's the young gun.
He's the young gun. I love that. Yeah. Are we looking for a prediction here or something? Because I know that you I saw the tweet the other day about you saying they should incorporate bingo into the match. That was a big brain suggestion by you, Jeremy. I was actually pretty proud to call you a co-host of mine when I saw you tweet that. It was a good idea. You've been having a lot of good ideas lately. We've been getting
got a lot of dumb ideas.
Yeah. So keep those good ideas coming.
I'll tell you. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you. Likes aren't public anymore on Twitter, and I don't like to out people who like my stuff because they're private. If I think it's kind of weird when people do that. Like, oh, this person liked my post when I was talking trash about a company or whatever. I wasn't talking trash about anything. This was my bingo idea for the senior scramble. It got some interesting likes from some people who could potentially incorporate this into the match. That's all I'll say.
Wonderful. I can connect some dots there. I don't know who, but I mean, I could imagine potentially maybe some people who saw that and took note. One of the funniest times that's ever happened to me was years ago, and this is when likes were still public, but it was just funny when it happened. I remember tweeting something to the effect of and this is when Mojo Rawley was still in the WWE. I tweeted something like, no matter how good this guy gets, he's no one's gonna take him seriously as long as his name Mojo Rawley. He's never gonna main event WrestleMania with the name Mojo Rawley or something like that. And he liked the tweet. It was okay. And then there was another one where I was remember when that WrestleMania when it was Lunch Money Lewis was the music. It was Lunch Money Lewis and someone. I tweeted something like Lunch Money Lewis has to be the worst musician I've ever heard in my life, and he liked the tweet. And I was like, I gotta respect that. He's addressing the hate, just letting the haters know that he sees it, but he didn't actually say anything to me about it. So, anyway, just little things like that kind of caught me. But, why were we even talking? Oh yeah, the senior scramble. Do you have a prediction for the scramble? I mean, I'm sure there's probably going to be even more people in this that we don't even know about yet. You never know. I don't know how old Early Morning Guy Steele.
I think
is,
Ricky
I'd love
Morton.
to see him in this one.
Oh, that'd be great. I think Ricky Morton is gonna win.
That's a good call. I'm gonna go with Action Mike Jackson.
Okay.
One thing you can guarantee is that he will Undertaker style ring rope walk all the way around the ring. He will 1,000,000% do that during this match. I will put any amount of money on that.
All right. The other indie spotlight is a sad indie spotlight. Our pal, our good friend, your good friend, my enemy, Cole Radrick, suffered a torn ACL, and him and Alec Price lost the GCW tag team titles to AEW Security. Violence is Forever at the GCW show over the weekend. Very, very disappointing that Cole is injured once again, and he's going through a lot right now. I do send sincere well wishes to Cole. All frenemy stuff aside, I've talked to him a couple times, and he's doing his best.
Yeah. So first off, we'll start on the good and that kind of stuff. Everyone remember the day that you saw VIF working as security on AEW for whenever they become AEW World Tag Team Champions one day. You're going to go, wait, those are those same guys? Yeah, those are those same guys. Fucking love Ounces forever. And listen, I think it's fucking great that they're the 2-time GCW World Tag Team Champions. I think they're the best tag team in the entire planet. I'll stand by that. I'll stand on that. I love VIF. You'll know I got mad love for Dominic Green and Kevin Koo. But the circumstances of this happened sucked because the work that Cole Radrick and Alec Price have put in as a tag team as the Garbage Daddies, like they put in so much work and so much effort and so much story and so much went into them becoming the GCW Tag Team Champions in Hammerstein. On top of that, Cole had the injury that he's already had to come back from. He's had that brass ring since before that first injury. I don't know if like they're going to have to move on and like maybe Alec will get that and like get a shot at the title or like maybe I want to see Cole win the championship. I don't want to see him have to relinquish the brass ring, but like, I don't know how long they're planning to keep that on him because it'll be like, I mean, like a year and a half, 2 years or whatever it's going to wind up being by the time he's like, from the time that he won the brass ring. He should hopefully be back in the ring within like 7 to 9 months or whatever, hopefully. But my point is, this was just a shitty situation for everybody, most especially Cole, obviously. Y'all know Cole is a pretty regular part of this show. He means a lot to us. I consider him a good friend within wrestling. And, you know, it is one of those things where like, to see their reign have to end that way after it was just really starting to get cooking. Like they were having a great run, obviously pre-Hammerstein before they won the titles, but like they were having a great reign with the titles since then. And I don't think there was any intention of them losing those belts anytime soon. Like they were going to be going into WrestleMania weekend, the collective, as the GCW tag champs. And I would imagine Cole probably would have been booked for a whole bunch of matches for collective week. But, you know, so first and foremost, as I kind of unpack all of this, graduates to VIF, 2-time World Tag Team Champions. If they had to pivot and put those titles on anybody else because of the injury, VIF was the right move to pivot back to them heading into the collective weekend. So like congratulations to VIF and congratulations to them for getting onto AEW television. I hope, you know, things work out however they want them to work out, because I hope that VIF has the talent to where they should have already been on mainstream, you know, wrestling TV. And, you know, anyway, the second, of course, and the most important is, you know, thoughts are out to Cole Radrick. Go support Cole. Go to social media. There's ways to, you know, contribute and buy his merch and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, help support Cole Radrick. It's going to be a tough road of recovery. He's going to be having surgery and he's going to be out for, like I said, probably the better part of a year. Best case scenario is probably like around 6 months, like best case scenario. And then the other thing we have to keep in mind too is the trajectory of Alec Price, because Alec had a lot of momentum. Him and Cole had a lot of momentum as the tag team champions. And this is going to massively change the trajectory of what they were going to do with Alec in the next, you know, 6 months. And he has the kind of talent where he could easily stand on his own again and be like a main event level singles guy for GCW, which I'd like to see him do. He could be the GCW champ. I don't want to see Effie lose the title right now, but like if Effie had to lose the belt for whatever reason, Alec Price, I'd be fine with him being the GCW champion. I think he should have already been the JCW champion. I've talked about that plenty. But it's just all the things that I kind of consider when something like this happens. But I have to imagine that Alec will continue to get a significant push with, even though Cole won't be around. Maybe they'll put someone else with him to team, like maybe when Jordan Oliver comes back or something, they team him and Alec for a little while or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the best idea is for Alec at the moment, but they need to continue to push him and use him as a valuable asset of their company. So yeah, just really sucks that happened to Cole again. And I hope he doesn't have to give up the brass ring, but it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to like to pivot with that. But when he comes back, they got to mega push him. Like they got to get Cole on like the GCW world title path like immediately when he comes back, in my opinion. So, and I'm sure that when Cole's ready to talk about it publicly, will probably be the place he does it. So we'll keep you all in the loop. I've also DM'd him just briefly a little bit about it since that happened. But Cole knows that we love the dude and he means a lot to us. So I'm sure he's got the spotlight viewers in mind as well. When all this happens too, like as far as when there's news, y'all will know when it comes to Cole.
Tomorrow's In the Weeds. All the super chat money is going to Cole's GoFundMe. So on the show tomorrow, awesome. any super chat money that we raise, that's going to Cole's GoFundMe. And he has an open invite here all the time. He knows that. He has an open invite on In the Weeds as well. So I'm sure whenever Cole wants to pop up, Cole's more than welcome to pop up. I might have to just go through a table to make him feel better in the near future. Might have to just sacrifice myself because Cole needs a win right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy. I mean, you hate to see this happen to anybody, but I mean, especially someone like Cole, who I know you have your issues with him, kayfabe brother, but like, he's a universally liked guy in wrestling. And someone who's worked incredibly hard to get to where he's at. I mean, like when you look at Cole Radrick, I mean, he's a very underwhelming looking guy. I mean, he's on the short side. He doesn't look anything special. He's just worked his ass off. Absolutely worked his ass off. Grinded that indie scene. I mean, for years and years and years and years, wrestled everywhere, every company, every wrestler. And organically got over time in GCW to the point where like there's clearly plans of him being the world champion at some point. I mean, like, and he's a guy who was just trying to get on the show and just getting in scrambles or something years ago. I mean, just trying to get involved, and like he's become a real valuable asset to that company. And by way, makes him legitimately one of the top independent wrestlers in the entire planet. He really is. And that's once again coming from a guy. The first time I saw him, he's wearing a singlet in the basement east of Nashville, Tennessee, and no one knows who he is. And he's out there just hitting pop-up stunners and just hoping anyone's going to make any noise and care about him at all. And now it's like, to see where he's at now has been just fucking awesome to watch it all happen. So I have no doubt in my mind when he comes back, he'll be better than ever. Just like he was on a great run after like this run he just had between injuries. So, yeah.
And that's the really disappointing part of it all is he just came back from a pretty big injury that kept him sidelined for the majority of last year, and he returned and he was on such a great run. They won the tag team titles, and I don't know if you saw this. But it was announced that it was going to be him and Alec against Violence is Forever in a ladder match at Spring Break for the tag team titles. And then Janela pulled that pretty quickly after making the announcement. So I assume he got a heads up of sort of what was going on. And then of course they lost the titles. So I think Janela announced that like Friday night. By Saturday morning it was pulled. And then Saturday they lost the titles. So that was going to be a match at Spring Break. And that would have been an insane match at Spring Break. So they were on a great run with the titles. And yeah, Cole's got the brass ring, and we'll see what they end up doing there. But I do look forward to whenever Cole is healthy, and everyone, give him a shout out, and to sing well wishes to your friend, my sometimes annoyance on this show, Cole Radrick.
Yeah, he's the man.
Cole Radrick's the only person I've driven.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
You froze for a second. You still frozen. Hello.
Okay. I think I'm back.
Kind of. You're lagging still. It's okay. The show is pretty much over. We pretty much lost Jeremy. All I was saying was everyone involved in that, all four of those guys, Kevin Koo, Dominic Green, Alec Price, Cole Radrick, legitimately four of my favorite human beings in professional wrestling. So Hope nothing but good things for them and a speedy recovery for the Ratty Daddy. Jeremy might be back now.
Maybe. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just lagging a little bit, but it's kind of good timing because I'm just going to hit the interview with me and Tom anyway and get on out of here.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts or anything? Sorry.
I appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody sending super chats. Again, if you haven't, leave a thumbs up on the video. That helps. Yeah, all the kids are online right now. Hopefully they're getting ready for bed, honestly. But leave a thumbs up on the video. That really helps us out. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done that. If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, however you get your podcast, please leave us a good review over there. Again, In the Weeds tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on this channel, myself and SP3. We're going to do some bracketology. And again, all the super chats from tomorrow's show, they're going to Cole's GoFundMe. So come support the show, but more importantly, come support our good pal, Jensen's pal, Cole Radrick. I'm going to get out of here. I'll make sure not to hit end stream because that's my typical duty. I'm just going to click the X and leave. Appreciate you as always, Jensen. I'll talk to everybody next week. Enjoy the wrestling this weekend, everybody. Bye, everyone.
See you, Jeremy. All right, everyone. Well. What do we have here? Just me and y'all. What should we do? As I've said previously, I have a microphone and you don't. So you'll listen to every goddamn word that I have to say. I'm taking this over with Jeremy gone. I'm just kidding. Time for the interview, everybody. We got Tom Talks Rubbish. I was just actually stalling there as I was trying to pull up the video. That was my way of stalling. Let's see if this plays. This is going to be about a half hour long. And when the interview is over, I will be back here to say goodbye, to bid you adieu, Kenny Omega style. So here is, you know what? I need to make sure I give you the right thing, don't I? See, this is what Jeremy usually does. And either it's on me. Now I have to figure out how to do it. All right. This might be it here. Welcome to the Creator Spotlight here on the Spotlight on Fightful. I am Stephen Jensen, normally joined by Jeremy Lambert. Jeremy, not able to make it for this interview, but I have a great guest here today, a returning guest, someone y'all have seen and heard from right here before. He is a content creator, interviewer, whatever you want to call him, member of the YouTube wrestling community. Tom Talks Rubbish returns to the show. Tom, how have you been, man? Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me back on, man. Full disclosure, I don't mind telling this story, but my first appearance that I was on, I'm not a fan of because my life has changed a lot since then, and I feel like I've changed as a person a lot since then. So thank you for having me back on. I really appreciate it. Absolutely. Well, let's just start there. I'm interested to hear. I mean, me and you stay in touch fairly consistently. I see your updates on social media and stuff, and yeah, well, let the people here know kind of since the last time you were here, what has changed and kind of what makes you a different person now than the last time you were on. So I live in my own flat, which is a big one. Rather than living at my mum's, I live in my own flat, which is a big one. So that means no more restrictions on when I can record and stuff like that. But also on the flip side to that question though, Stephen, I've become a bit of an old man when it comes to recording and having a decent bedtime because I'm in a routine now. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it does. It's almost like this is late for me. I'm not gonna lie, but any excuse to talk to you, pal. You know this. Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate, it's tough we have a 5-hour time difference. So where Tom is, as we record this, it's just past 9:30 p.m. his time, and it's my lunch break for my shoot job right now. So we're doing what we can to make this work, and I'm glad to have you on. And dude, it's really cool. It's really cool to hear. I mean, sounds like more independent since the last time we talked. It's got to be exciting to have your own spot and everything. That's really cool, man. It's great to hear. It's really cool because within reason, I'm not breaking any laws, guys. I can do what I like. I don't have to say to my mum or family, don't come in my bedroom. I'm recording with Stephen. for example, anymore. Like you've seen some of the run-ins we had at my old place, haven't you? You've been on the show when we saw some of the run-ins. So it is really cool in that respect, yeah.
Good deal. Well, and also, I wanted to ask because I see you doing the updates here and there, hitting the heavy bag, getting the boxing in and stuff. How's that been going?
I love it, man. Boxing is, since I discovered boxing in either 2021 or 2022, that's been my center. Do you know what I mean? That's been like how I sent people. Some people use meditation, some people use jigsaws. That's been my sort of anchor, if you like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What's been so great about it? I love the sport of boxing. I love mixed martial arts. My brother's a professional boxing trainer. So I have obviously great respect for the sport of boxing, but also not just the sport, but just doing it to be active, stay in shape and that kind of stuff. So I guess kind of what's been the benefits that you've gotten from since you started doing the boxing?
So without going into too much detail, there's videos out there if you guys want to know, but we don't have time to go into the full story today. Mm-hmm. I was a very aggressive person when I was younger because I couldn't accept my disability. For those that may not know, I have something called cerebral palsy, which is the same condition Gregory Irons has, actually. And I just couldn't accept it.
Absolutely.
And I just couldn't accept it, Stephen. So now boxing just sort of gives me an outlet for aggression. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think Gregory Iron is an inspiration, by the way, as well. I'm a big fan of his. I've actually DM'd him in the past because I know I've told you this before. I have a lot of history of neurological disorder and stuff in my family. I deal with things as well that just little things here and there that just nag me and annoy me. And I know it has to do with something hereditary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I see someone like Gregory, doing what he does, and you're just damn, that's super inspiring. When I see you doing what you do, I think it's super inspiring. And it's wild because I'll see you hitting the heavy bag and I'll literally be like, dude, I've done nothing today. Like Tom's out there hitting the heavy bag. I need to do some push-ups or something. So it actually, I like that you tag me in those, man. And I try to retweet those and, show my buddies and stuff that I've, my buddy Tom here is out there, putting the work in, and my brother loves seeing it because, like I said, he's a boxing trainer. So he's like, dude, this is badass that he's doing this. So, so keep up the good work, man. I think it's awesome.
I really appreciate that, man. So we had this conversation last time I was on, and we've had this conversation before. The retweeting of stuff and the tagging people, it's not for clout, as somebody said it was the other day. A troll said it was the other day.
Oh, really?
Hopefully inspire people and show that we're all on the same team, for lack of a better word. I'm trying to inspire people rather than despire. I don't even know if that's a word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the internet's the internet. The trolls are going to always exist. There's nothing you can really do about it. My approach is generally to just ignore trolls completely, but I know other people have other approaches. People deal with stuff the way they want to deal with it. I'm not going to tell another grown man how to or to not deal with online hate and stuff like that. People can make their own decisions and deal about stuff and handle their business however they want to. But just know that for every one moron that says something to you negative, there's probably 100 people that saw that post and were, it was the opposite. They were inspired by it. So yeah, keep doing your thing, man. I'm a fan. I appreciate it. And I'm going to move on from that. We're going to talk about you a little bit more on the podcasting side, because you've been doing a lot of work, not only in the gym hitting that heavy bag, but you've been doing a lot of work, on these mics, and been doing a lot of interviews, getting a lot of good guests. And I know you just had Jimmy Corderas on.
So you said this will air tonight, right?
Yeah, so I saw a clip on there today, but you're telling me the full episode available tomorrow being Friday, correct?
Yep. 200 episodes, and the 200th guest is Jimmy Corderas.
How does it feel? This is going to be multi-layered, and feel free to elaborate as much as you'd like to. I'll probably ask you a few different things based on this, but first off, what was it like getting Jimmy Corderas? I saw the clip that you have up already. Very cool clip. Him explaining being the referee in the main event of Edge versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. So really cool. So what was it like being able to interview Jimmy Corderas on, a historic episode? Congratulations on 200 shows. It's a lot of episodes.
So to unpack that a bit, Jimmy and I have many acquaintances in this business because I've interviewed a lot of people from Wrestling Inc. who he formerly worked for. And episode 200 was coming up. And I don't know if you know who Jack Farmer is.
Yeah.
I just reached out to him and said, look, you obviously know Jimmy's a dream guest. Would you help me out? And he did. And said, yeah, I'll help you. I'd love to see you interview Jimmy. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So it got set up, it sounds like fairly easily. And then it looks like, I'm looking forward to watching the entire interview, but from the clips that I've seen, it seemed like it was a great interview. I mean,
it went really well. I was nervous as hell. It was the first time I've been nervous for an interview since, for those that don't know, my first big interview was Adam Pacitti of Cultaholic. That was the first time I've been nervous for an interview since the Adam one.
Okay. That makes sense though. Jimmy Corderas, a guy who I've seen on my TV screen for, decades. It's cool being able to do that kind of stuff. We interview a lot of indie wrestlers and, promoters and stuff here on this show, but there's it's a different type of thing. I'm not saying it's necessarily better or worse or anything. It's just a different type of feeling when we have someone like Dave Penzer on the show. And it's I watched that guy doing ring announcing in WCW when I was a kid. And it's weird because the little kid in me is the 10-year-old me would be marking out for this. You know what I mean? That's
exactly what I said to Jimmy, because in that clip I said to him, one of my favorite matches is that main event match. Do you know what I mean? And I went, so if 10-year-old Tom, who loves that match, loves Jimmy's work just in general, could say he interviewed Jimmy, he would think, what the hell? What's going on, man?
And that's what it's all about. I feel like that's what it's all about. For myself, I try to keep that in perspective often, where it's even if it's something I feel like I don't want to do or, whatever, where I'm having reservations about something in wrestling, or it's a show that I may not want to go to, but I kind of want to and stuff like that. I'll just be dude, 10-year-old you would be so stoked to know that you get to talk to a pro wrestler. Why would you be you know what I mean? And it's and so I think not only is that super cool, it's also super cool that you've made it to 200 episodes. That's a whole lot of, what's it like getting to that number? Because I know it's a lot of peaks and valleys, and I know there's a lot of time, I'm sure, and I'm sure you can elaborate on this because I know I've gone through it myself, where you get to certain points where you're should I even keep doing this? But then you keep doing it, and the next thing you know, you're interviewing Jimmy Corderas. You know what I mean?
So I said this in the previous episode that went out last week. I had somebody called Ben Veal, who does a show called Wrestling Life, on my show, and he flipped the script on me. We told my wrestling story through as sort of a celebration for my birthday. Does that make sense?
Yes, and happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. And it was one of those we spoke about success and failure, and because that's a question I ask a lot. As you know, you've been on the show a few times. You know that's what we talk about a lot. And I have moments where I think I've had, and this makes me sound quite self-absorbed, but you'll know where I'm going with this, Stephen. I do have moments where I think, should I be bigger than I am? Because I've had some of the biggest people on, and some of my interviews have got thousands of views, but just not thousands of subscribers. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
But then I remind myself, and I'm getting a bit emotional talking about this. My channel helped me through depression. Before I moved into this flat, I've told this story on other interviews and things. I almost unalived myself, to use the TikTok term. Do you know what I mean?
Understood, yeah.
There was so much going on in my personal life at that point that I just didn't want to be here anymore, Stephen. So I do, but the only thing that was a light at the end of the tunnel was, I get to talk to Stephen today. I get to talk to Jeremy. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, dude. I didn't mean to go that heavy.
No, it's okay. I appreciate the transparency. I know that wrestling means a lot to a lot of people, and like, however, I mean, I've talked about it myself too. I mean, same kind of stuff, like going through, you know, loss as a kid and all this type of stuff. And like the one constant in my life when I was growing up was having wrestling on Mondays. For me, it was Monday Nitro for WCW, but then obviously that became flipping this, you know, between WWF and WCW and ECW. And that's part of the reason why, I mean, the main reason why I'm even a fan to this day, but also why I think that's why I think it's so important that the wrestling business is in a healthy space.
Definitely.
Because it needs to be around for people like us. It needs to be around for people who need it, who need that escape. And it's the best escape in the world. Great pro wrestling. Like, in my opinion, the kind of stuff like the WWE is doing right now in like current day time, some of the best stuff. I think some of the best business they've ever done. And I think it's amazing seeing, you know, it's great for the kids. It's great for the adults. And like, so just for what it's worth, I'm sure there's a lot of people that will see this that have felt the way that you have felt at one point or another, and wrestling or the wrestling community or whatever. And that's why I get so mad about like when wrestling fans fight one another and people get tribalistic and all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, we get so passionate about it. We're all on the same team at the end of the day, but some people don't understand that.
We spoke about this before. It's like, we're a small enough niche as it is. We don't need to be eating each other. If we eat each other, we're all going to be extinct. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
it's the dumbest thing in the world, because at the same time, if you were in a room of like just a random group of people and you were an AEW, like a diehard AEW fan, screw everything else, and there's another guy in the room, diehard WWE fan, screw everything else. You guys have never met one another.
You're probably the only two wrestling fans in the room.
Right. And imagine like some random person starts bullying the other guy. Oh, you like wrestling? Wrestling's stupid. Wrestling's fake. You know, you're an idiot. If you'd immediately want to defend that guy. You wouldn't care what wrestling promotion you liked. You want to be like, no, wrestling's awesome. Like, no, man, like I like wrestling too. You need to immediately have a bond. It doesn't matter what kind of wrestling you like. It's like you both like wrestling, and you know, you're already in the niche minority, like you said. So the reason I even went down into that whole rabbit hole was because like I said, you were very transparent there. And I think that a lot of people, like I said, that see this probably like myself and like you have used wrestling over the years as an escape, you know?
Definitely, man. Definitely.
And it's cool you've been, I'm sorry. I was going to say, and it's cool that you've been able to turn it into something where you can talk to other wrestlers, meet people you're inspired by. Like that's amazing. You get to also do that on top of it. I wanted to, of course, you know, mention that as well.
Definitely, man.
So, speaking of that, and I've seen that, and correct me if I'm wrong, your dream guest, the main one at the top of your list right now is Simon Miller. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Why is it Simon? I love Simon as well, but why is Simon your dream guest right now?
So, for a long time, it was Chris Manley. We got him off the list. He was to do with interviews and things like that. So Simon is more to show how, because without him, I don't know if I'd be a wrestling fan, because I had points where I couldn't watch the shows due to, I don't know, family commitments or just how it aired in the UK. But I've always checked up ups and downs or any of what cultures work and things like that. So yeah, it's to really show my appreciation to Simon, for lack of a better word.
Very cool. And he seems like a great guy. Obviously, I got some mutual friends of his. We've interacted very, very little, I think, just over social media over the years and stuff like that. But I've always pulled for him. I think it's super cool that he's like getting to wrestle himself, and you know, he's been putting in all that work. And you're not alone in that either. Like I have a few friends that, you know, either loosely follow wrestling or don't have time to watch it all, and a lot of them do watch Simon Miller specifically. They're just like, they like the way that he breaks stuff down and the way he recaps stuff and the ups and downs, and they get the fix through him.
And I'm so fascinated by, obviously, because I had my own mental health struggles. I talk a lot about mental health with content creators now, and burnout and balance and things like that. I'm so fascinated Simon does everything because he even does work for Arsenal Football Club in the UK. He wrestles. He has a fitness channel. He has a wrestling channel. He does what culture? I'm curious how the man balances it all. I really am curious about that. So if I could ask him one question, if he was like, dude, you've got one question for a short or whatever, it'd be like, how the hell do you do it all, man? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know what his answer would be, because I don't think I'd be able to. That's a lot of work. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do even just the wrestling aspect of it. Like, that's enough work alone. Becoming an independent pro wrestler on top of everything else.
Exactly.
Were you a fan of, like, how far back does it go being a fan of his? Because I know you mentioned What Culture, obviously, but he's been with What Culture a long time now. Were you a fan of their content?
It was mainly the Cultaholic crew. When the Cultaholic crew started and things like that, and then someone can correct me in the timeline in the comments. I think Simon joined after the Cultaholic crew and things like that.
So,
sorry, dude. And it was one of those where it was like, I've just always gravitated towards him because he's so positive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So believe it or not, he was there with the Cultaholic guys, and he did not go to Cultaholic with them. I don't know why that was. I have no idea, like, whose decision it was. Like,
I do know this, actually. I believe it's because he's not a full-time What Culture presenter. He is a freelancer. And What Culture, basically, for lack of a better word, Simon could correct. It came down to money, as I understood it. Cultaholic couldn't offer him money at the time, but What Culture could, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to, like, speculate, like, because I really don't know the situation.
No, neither would I.
But I know either do you. We're just thinking out loud. It's obviously, but like, but but something like that does make sense, because Cultaholic, I'm sure was very unknown what they would look like financially, starting a YouTube channel completely from scratch. Obviously, those guys had a big following. But then they obviously took the big hit when Blanc-Pierre couldn't start the channel with them. There's so much lore that goes into all of that. But like, I've always been a big fan of Simon, so it's really been cool seeing him continue to succeed, continue to thrive, and I think that would be a great interview. I think it'd be a great interview to see. If and when that ever happens, please let me know, and I'll make sure to retweet it or whatever. Try to get some extra eyes on that if I can, because I think it'd be great.
Thank you, man. You've always been very good with the retweeting, and I do appreciate that.
Oh, no, it's all good. I honestly, I'm not on social media like hardly at all nowadays, so I miss a whole lot of stuff. But if I see some stuff I like, I'll try to take the time to just throw a retweet up or something. But I'm not nearly as active as I used to be, for sure.
Oh, neither am I, dude.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. Just quickly, that was one of the things that really helped me when I moved, because I did do a lot of what people call doom scrolling when I first moved, because I had nothing else to do before I got internet and all that. So, but now I literally go on social media when I'm on my computer. I have nothing on my phone, and that has been a godsend for my mental health, dude.
Honestly, I'd be right there with you if I didn't have to have, like, I get so much stuff done through Twitter DMs. Like, I'm rarely actually scrolling the timeline, but I use it as like a communication tool to where
yeah. So I'm the same with my channel. Definitely. I am the same, yeah. But even other social medias I don't use a lot of now. It's just better for the old noggin. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I completely agree. I'm right there with you. There's plenty of times where I'm like, what would it be like if I just completely got rid of my smartphone?
Just quickly, I know we've got to wrap this up because you've got to go back to work.
You're good.
But
You're good.
Just quickly, it helps a lot as well with comparison being the thief of joy. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't look at the numbers other people are getting or the interviews that maybe I've been trying to get that they got and things. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense also, because that you could be, the vibes could be great, like you feel like you've done a great job, and then you start scrolling the timeline and you're like, oh man, I suck compared to that guy though.
Exactly. So it's hard when I'm not going to name any people because there's a lot of people that do a lot of work. When you see someone pop up an interview with so-and-so and you think, I DM'd that person and didn't even get a response. Do you know what I mean?
For what it's worth, that happens to me plenty as well. That happens to all of us. So that's...
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah. And like I said, dude, I don't take anything personally anymore. I don't know if you saw this tweet between me and our good friend Anthony Talks tonight, but I put a basically thank you for 200 episodes thing, and he was like, "You're not retiring, are you?" I was like, A, it's wrestling. People don't retire. B, no, it's just to sort of say, if it did end after 200, dude, I'm very happy with what I've accomplished. Like, if you told Tom that started the channel in 2021, you're going to get to 200 episodes, he'd be like, I'm sorry, what? How? Like, how am I supposed to put 200 together? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort that people don't see that goes into scheduling these things, recording these things, editing these things. And there's a lot that goes into it that, like, once again, the people that don't see the final product, they don't see all that. So they may not appreciate it, but I definitely do because I do understand what that's like. So I think that's awesome. 200 episodes is a great accomplishment. Massive shout out to our friend Anthony. I love that guy. I need to actually see how he's doing. It's been a while since I've actually talked to him.
He's a good dude, man. He's a really good dude.
He's the best. He's a great guy. Actually, that's a good reminder. I'm gonna shoot him. If you see this, Anthony, by the time this airs, I may have already sent you a direct message asking you how you've been doing. But a couple more questions before we get out of here. I do have a little bit more time before I got to clock back into the shoot job. We have some big wrestling pay-per-views coming up. Just want some quick thoughts on some of this stuff. So this weekend, AEW Dynasty, what are you most looking forward to on that show?
It's really bad, but I haven't watched AEW since Revolution, so I can't even tell you what's on the card, dude. Because I've been so hyped up with the WrestleMania hype that I just haven't had the time. You know what I mean?
That's okay. Well, hey, that's a transparent, honest answer. The AEW fans might come after you over it, but, you know, that's on you.
But AEW fans, before you crucify me, I watch clips. I just don't know what's on the card because the man has no time. Do you know what I mean?
It's okay. Yes, you do not need to apologize to me. But if Tony Khan sees this, maybe you need to apologize to him.
Tony Khan, I'm very sorry.
No, I'm totally kidding. I'm looking forward to Dynasty, but me and Jeremy will talk about that on the spotlight, so people don't need to hear me talk about that here. But I was going to ask you, actually, that's my last question. I was going to ask, you alluded to it, WrestleMania, obviously, that is coming up. What are your thoughts on, I guess, really the biggest thing is John Cena finally turning heel? What have you felt about, like, the back and forth between him and Cody? And the biggest question, who do you think actually wins that match? Do you think Cena wins number 17 at WrestleMania, or does Cody win? Okay, well, give me your thoughts on all that.
I think Cena wins. I love the initial heel turn. Really liked his first promo when he turned heel about being a human being and things like that. Thought we had a couple of ropey weeks where they were just spinning their wheels, but then they was in England this week. And funny enough, a good friend of mine was actually there for the show, so he did send me like live footage, but I watched it as well, and I thought that was a great segment between them both, and I'm really looking forward to that match. And also, one thing that I hadn't been looking forward to was Jay versus Gunther, but after what happened on Raw this week, sign me up, boy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, fantastic stuff. I think they've done a great job as far as, you know, the builds to WrestleMania. I really enjoyed it. But I'm also very biased because I'm a Cody Rhodes mark, obviously.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but I just thought there was a couple of weeks where it was like, okay, we need to get here.
Sure.
But how are we going to get here? Like, we need to fill time before Mania. That's the way I'll phrase it.
Yes, and I agree with you. There's definitely been some misses like over the weeks. But I think the actual card that we're going to get for both nights, like the actual matches we're getting for those two shows, it's going to be stacked. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you mentioned Jay and Gunther. Do you think Jey Uso wins the world title at WrestleMania?
My heart says yes. My head says no. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the sense of I want him to, but I just don't see him as the guy dethroning Gunther. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's because this is my own brain and this is me. Sorry, Jay. And not sorry, Jay, but you know what I mean. I will always see the Usos together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. So you
I like Jay as a single star. I don't get me wrong. I'm one of those guys that gets caught. I can't do it when I'm sitting in this chair. I am one of those guys that gets caught up on Raw and will do it in my living room. Thankfully, I live on my own, so it's not as embarrassing anymore. But there are moments where, don't get me wrong, if he does, I will be very happy. But also my head says I would see them wanting a bigger star to dethrone Gunther.
Understood. I get where you're coming from. Personally, I think I'm going to go with Jey Uso, but you've got, and I'm going to go with Cody. I mean, but I pick Cody against everybody. It wouldn't even, you could put God, Cody Rhodes versus God, Vince McMahon style. I'm still thinking. What's that?
You want Cody to almost my precious all the belts, don't you? And Thanos all the belts.
Oh, yeah, I'd be completely fine with a scenario where Cody Rhodes is the world champion. I mean, he's already called the undisputed WWE world champion, but I mean, there is another title.
Dumb name, by the way.
What did you say?
Dumb name for a belt.
Oh, I agree. There's 2 world titles, so how could it be undisputed? No, I'm with you. Yeah. So the other match is the last one I wanted to ask about for WrestleMania. Because this one I think is really that's another thing too. I think a lot of these matches, like, they're difficult to predict, which is a great thing. We have a lot of performers that are very over that you can make cases for why each one of these people could win. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Who wins that one?
Punk, and I think it has to do with the favor.
You think Heyman helps Punk as the favor to get the win in the WrestleMania main event?
We would get a babyface version of Punk and Heyman, or Punk turns heel and we get Punk and Heyman again a la 2012, 2013.
Interesting. I'm going wild card, and this is me going heart over head 1,000,000%. I want Seth Rollins to win that match really badly.
Again, that's one of those matches where I'm like, I'm just along for the ride. I'm not mad at any of that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 1,000,000%. See, at the end of the day, the real winners are the fans, because we're going to have an awesome WrestleMania weekend. Plus, as somebody who covers independent professional wrestling, I got the GCW Collective.
It's the best weekend of the year for you, isn't it, dude?
Oh, it's the best, the week and the weekend. I'm taking the whole week off of my shoot job. So I'll be going to the casino for a few days and then watching wrestling for like almost a week straight. So and I'll be doing multiple podcasts and stuff. So like this is the best time of the year for me. That's
awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. And I'm really glad you and Jeremy are so successful with this, because you're good people. Thanks for having me back on, man. I
appreciate that. I don't know if I can say the same for Jeremy, you know, missing the interview and everything, but he has good reason. He's a
family man.
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing. That should always be prioritized over wrestling, which, you know, obviously I kid. I try to find ways to like jab at Jeremy if I can, and then it always winds up circling back to like, there was a reason for that. You know what I mean? Like, there was a reason to even the problem with Jeremy is that he likes to come at Cody Rhodes and troll me so often that I try to find ways to troll him. But then sometimes when I'm trying to troll him back, I'm just like, there's no reason to even troll, because like that doesn't even make sense.
That's someone else as well. You and I have talked about this in DMs. Open invite whenever you're free, Jeremy. Would love to have you back on the show, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, that's on Jeremy. That's on Jeremy. So Jeremy, when you see this, when this airs tonight, that's your call out, your open invitation to join Tom. Tom, thank you once again for joining me, man. Very much appreciated. Always great to see you and to chat with you. Please let everybody know where they can find you and follow you and all that good stuff.
So Tom Talks Rubbish is on YouTube, and just Tom Talks Rubbish on X or Twitter. That's where you can find me. I interview the great people in wrestling media, such as this fine gentleman. He's been on many times and things like that. If you're seeing this on the Friday, as it goes live and things like that. My interview with WWE legendary referee Jimmy Corderas has just gone up.
Awesome. Great stuff. Make sure to follow Tom and make sure to subscribe, check out his work. As always, Tom, once again, thank you very much for joining the show, and we'll be right back here on the Spotlight. All right, there we go. I'm back. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that interview with myself and Tom Tosh Rubbish. I see Power Driver Finisher in the chat. Always good to see you here, even though I don't always agree with things that you say, but I do appreciate the support, as always. He says that so to Jensen it's trolling, but in reality, it's just Jeremy is right about Cody not being the guy. We'll agree to disagree. Cody is very clearly the guy. Very, very clearly the guy. Especially, Cody's going to win the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. Everyone thinks John Cena is going to win number 17 at WrestleMania. Oh, no. Cody's going to do it. And I'm going to get out of here before I can even see the comments. Thanks, everyone, as always, for joining the show. Thank you very much to Jeremy, for being here for the live show. And thank you very much for Tom joining for the pre-recorded interview. We'll be back again next week, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time here on Fightful Overbooked. Don't know who the guests next couple weeks are going to be, but we'll probably have somebody. We'll probably have some people that are going to be wrestling over WrestleMania week. Maybe someone who's got like some matches lined up for the collective, or maybe catch up with someone who's got We'll probably interview some wrestlers that are going to be having some stuff going on over WrestleMania week over the next couple weeks. But I'll keep you all updated. When we interview these people, I always tweet out about it to let y'all know who we're having on. If you want to, support anything else that I've got going on here at Fightful, please check out the Fightful Select Weekender podcast. That's every Sunday or Monday over on FightfulSelect.com. I cover the world of indie wrestling. I usually recap usually between 8 and 10 shows. Sometimes we have spoilers for Ring of Honor and TNA that I go through, and do predictions for shows as well. So if you're into indie wrestling especially, I would highly recommend checking out the Fightful Select Weekender podcast. I'm doing the show over there for over 6 years now, and it's a part of the most inexpensive tier on the platform. So I think it just went up to $6 a month from $5 recently. But, included in that, you get all of Sean's news, all the extra stuff, other podcasts. But along with that, you do also get the Weekender podcast. And as I always mention, I try to upload those on Sundays, but sometimes it has to be Monday because a lot of top indie companies run Sunday night shows. And, for that reason, sometimes I have to record on Monday. So look out. Especially this month, it'll be staggered. We'll have Sunday shows, we'll have Monday shows, have a lot of content surrounding the collective. I may be live at Battle Slam if they start running shows again this month, which sounds like it's very likely. They might be doing 1 or 2 shows here in Atlanta, it sounds like, around the end of this month. I will probably attend one of the 2 if they run the show. I think they're trying to do a Friday, Saturday. I can't make the Friday because of work, but I could probably do the Saturday. So just keep your eyes out for, more content as far as independent wrestling stuff that I do is concerned, whether it's right here on Fightful Overbooked or over on Fightful Select or even on the Fightful main channel. I'm going to be with Cresta and Joel in a couple weeks for we got another TNA pay-per-view coming up. So do that 4 times a year on the Fightful main channel. So I'm kind of all over the place. I'm nowhere and everywhere at the same time. Just got to know where and when to find me here on these Fightful platforms. But appreciate y'all as always. Can't thank y'all enough. It's a dream doing these shows. Appreciate Jeremy co-hosting with me, and I appreciate y'all for watching along. So next time y'all will hear from me will be it'll be Monday. The Fightful Weekender will be Monday. This next episode, because we have GCW in the afternoon and then AEW Dynasty at night. So next Weekender is on Monday. That's when you'll hear me next. And then I'll be here the following Thursday right here, same place, same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Fightful Overbook for the spotlight. Me and Jeremy doing our thing. Y'all have a great rest of your Thursday evenings. Have a great weekend. And until next time, do some professional wrestling.